Right, hello. So I'm going to stream some more Resident Evil 4. Like I said, because Asmongold's streaming it at the moment, and I also like it, so other people might be interested in it. But again, like I said, it's mostly just because when he was streaming it, it reminded me it existed. And like I said, we sort of got it running now on Linux, so there should hopefully be more time playing it today and less time just messing about with settings. Right, so I want to get this box a lot smaller, probably to about there. Alright, good to see you, because just straight on Stalker, that means it's actually sharing it with people. So yeah, don't forget to like the stream, people, that helps me out, as Stalker said. It's always good to mention that. Right, I'm just going to see roughly to probably about there. Alright, what's freak? So if I set that to always on top, now I want to launch Resident Evil 4. And then I just want to do that a couple of times. Oh no, not that window, this one. There we go. To the point I can read your text, but I can see the game window behind it, and it's roughly in line with the webcam, so it looks like I'm looking at you rather than just staring off into space if I'm reading the chat messages. So yeah, YouTube actually for once seems to be sharing one of my videos again. So the one I did this morning about the California chemical leak one, that one, the next video on that one, because it's still going on with the updates and where I was saying about them doing the Chernobyl type stuff with it. That is actually getting views, so it's got more views, that video, in like the first couple of hours of being up, than some of my videos over the last few days are over being up. Alright, Regiv? For a few days. So yeah, YouTube, for whatever reason, has decided that particular video it will share. So that's good. I'm never going to complain when that happens, but like I said, it is just one of those weird things where I can get that chat window a little bit lower again. So, see how it looks there. I can still get a bit lower, but yeah, that'll be fine. So like I said, I want to make sure I can see all your things. I just don't. I want the least amount of wasted space for that chat window, if that makes sense. Yeah, we have to get rid of that. We have to get rid of that tank. We need the machine to do it. Ugh. I'm bendy metal myself. That's why you won't get any sparks. But yeah, so that's good. Like I said, I'm never going to complain when YouTube is sharing my stuff, but whether or not today my feed is any better in terms of the videos in my feed, the stuff I actually want to look at. Resident Evil 4, I thought you just literally saw that on the main menu. The remake of Resident Evil 4, the original was still very good, but the remake obviously runs on modern systems. So yeah, I switched to 5.7. This should run alright on Linux today, because like I said, I've already done all the fucking about with the settings prior to crop, swine, pig and babe. But yeah, like I said, yesterday I spent ages messing about with the settings and that, so hopefully is it in 1080p for everybody as well? Is that a cow or that's a pig? And then babe. Yep. So, yeah, what was I saying? That it's one of those things where, hopefully, because I spent enough time fucking about with the settings yesterday, it's now, yeah, it was on PS2 as well, wasn't it? I had it on PS2, but I think the PS2 release was a bit later than GameCube. See, the only problem with the 5.7 is I really like the 5.7 as a pistol, but in this game it's just not that good damage. I suppose if you played on easy or normal it might be alright, because I'm on hard now. It's kind of like, oh, don't ever use the 5.7, but I like the 5.7. Although I suppose when I start running into armoured enemies again, it will be useful for that reason. But yeah, I had the metal tin version of Resident Evil 2, I think, with Dr. Salvador on the tin, the chainsaw guy. The wheat withers and the cows grow thin. There are signs of famine. Yeah, I've got Stellar Blade installed again now, Rajit, but again, I won't play it through till I played this or whatever. Because again, like, at the moment, I kind of like playing a couple of casual games when I'm not streaming, and then stuff like this on stream, so, you know, it's kind of consistent what I'm doing. I don't like having loads of story games on the go at once, because then I'll forget what fucking is going on with each game. Not feels like an airsoft gun, sorry. Alright, so that's the end of that chapter. Probably would have been better for me to finish that chapter, wouldn't it, on yesterday's stream, but I don't really know without replaying it or rewatching videos where each chapter starts and ends on this. Alright, see if my coffee is a good temperature. It's only about half full with coffee, by the way. It's just because most of the smaller mugs are in the sink. And what was I going to say? When I carry a mug into here, and also for not spilling it, I like having just a bigger mug because it's easier.
Bruce to Condor 1, I've got that intel you requested on Louis Serra. It seems he used to be a researcher for Umbrella.
Oh, the what, 5.7 pistol, yeah.
I should have left him in that bag to rot.
I'm sending you the details. Take a look, but Baby Eagle is your priority.
Copy that.
It's one of my favourite handguns ever, not that I've ever shot one, but... Yeah, I might do a cup of tea later. I just felt like coffee right now, Rajiv, because I'm still not fully awake. I didn't set an alarm today, so, and I woke up quite late because of the fact that I did get a really good night's sleep at least, but yeah. Had to have the fan blowing full stop to sleep well. And then, yeah, what was I going to say, sort of, because I had a sleep mask on, because obviously the sun comes up quite early. I didn't wake up at sort of 6 AM or whatever with the sun today. I need Ashley to get up there, don't I? I have to come back here later on. Right, okay, so...
You too, huh?
Yeah, that's the problem, is like, it's good at some points in the year, Rajiv. My room is ideal for getting just the right amount of light at the right time to wake you up naturally without an alarm clock. But at other times in the year, it will either wake you up too early, or it will, you know, be the opposite of you just won't get enough light. Like I said, that's why I like the sunrise alarm clock sort of ones. But again, if you're wearing a sleep mask, that's still not going to do anything. But like I said, today I just didn't bother setting an alarm because I thought I didn't need to get up early for anything. So let's go see what those treasure bits are I missed down there. But yeah, like I said, today it was just a case of I thought, I'm not going to get up particularly early, I just won't give a shit about setting the alarm, and that was fine. Oh yeah, it's those sort of things. That's good, yeah. So our house is a bungalow anyway, so the attic runs pretty much the entire length of the original house. The extension doesn't have that, so the extension is always cooler because there's not an attic, you know, if the heat gets out, it gets out kind of thing. But yeah, like I said, I have to have an aircon running in here because the problem with this room is the immersion heater's in a cupboard in that corner there, so that's always... Alright, hype? Yep, so that's always throwing out heat there because you've got the immersion heater there. Like I said, you've got the attic with all the insulation right above me. That doesn't go to the outside, so this is a completely boxed in room, and then any heat being thrown out by the computer or the router or anything like that all adds to this room. That's why, again, I've not got many lights on at the moment, because if I add the LED lights on for streaming, although it looks nicer, that's again throwing out more and more heat. Yeah, again, yeah, that's the funny thing, isn't it? And during a lot of the summer, it's actually closing the windows and closing the curtains actually keeps more heat out than you'd think. Yeah, I saw your comment. I haven't replied to it yet because I just saw it on the thing about heat pumps. Yeah, heat pumps. Oh, there you go. Heat pumps are really good if they're on a house that's well insulated that works well with them. Yeah, this AC does everything. This portable unit. I use it sometimes with the dehumidifier mode as well, just because this room, in certain times of the year, if it's really humid, can get really sticky and horrible. But I did use this unit as well as the other dehumidifier we had to get rid of like any mold we had in the house. But yeah, the problem is, saying where you were saying about heat pumps, is there was a big drive to do those in the UK. But the issue is, with heat pumps, is lots of older housing, because the insulation and that's a bit crap on them, heat pumps are very energy inefficient for those houses, because of the fact that, you know, they're obviously doing a lot of work when the air is just going to leak in and out anyway. So apparently heat pumps are really good on, like, more airtight, newer build houses. But yeah, they're just a bit shit on houses like mine, which is why lots of people got pissed off when the government wanted to force them on people. It's a bit like I've said to you before with like the electric car stuff. Would be great in theory in the UK, but the issue we've got as well is that, you know, like lots of the any more. Oh, there's a box of handgun ammo I missed. I might go back to the trader in a second as well. Another bit of treasure. Yeah, they are noisy, but it's because they're like background noisy kind of noise. It never bothers me, stuff like that, because, you know, when stuff is kind of just a nice background noise that's very consistent, it never bothers me. When I have issues with stuff is when it's you know, like when it makes a really loud sort of, you know, inconsistent noise that like revs up and revs down, because then it distracts you from what you're doing. And are you using a Japanese VPN again today, Hype? I'll let you know in a day or two if that made a significant difference my end. It probably did if you said you got a load of adverts. Yeah, again, but part of the problem I think is the fact that they were like charging poor people loads of money to upgrade their systems. Oh, that's good. Thanks for using the Jap VPN again then. Yeah, so again, it's that thing where if the government incentivized it better, but again, lots of these problems end up being like a poverty tax. Because what ends up happening is that basically the poorest people are the ones that ended up just getting the bill shoved on them. It's like when they do the low emission shit, and the poorer people that have older cars are always the ones that are then forced to sell their car or upgrade to a much more expensive car kind of thing. Whereas if you're rich anyway, that's less of a problem because you already have a modern car. And like I said, the problem like the UK electric car grid thing is it's that electric in theory would be way better, but we already have enough problems supplying energy to the grid. They haven't built enough charging ports. The problem in the UK is because lots of people have like several cars per driveway. That's also not ideal. So like I said, lots of this stuff would be good if it was implemented properly, but the curse we have here is that the government's normally are retarded idiots. So, you know, anything that could work, they will fuck up. Right, what's he got on him? What are we buying? That's infinite. It's 2 million.
You'll get some bang for your buck. I guarantee it.
Right.
Anything else
So
I
let's
can
repair
help?
that.
Easy work.
Can't afford to repair the armor. Have we got anything worth selling? Pill pendant. That can't be upgraded.
A deal well struck.
Get rid of the kitchen knife because we've got the problem fighting. I'll get rid of the grenade for now. As much as the grenades are useful, I'd rather just have the money, I think. So that's £3
A deal well struck.
Right, can I afford any more tune-ups for my, either my rifle or my,
Will do.
can't put the
What
gems
can I
into that
do?
chalice yet because it's the wrong type. I have no idea height, but probably quite bad because again, like a lot of this house is built around air bricks as well, because a lot of the houses of this period are air bricked. Ours isn't too bad in all honesty. Like, you know, like I said, our we did have a lot of insulation done properly at one point, so we don't really have a stupidly leaky house. Like I said, the main problem with this house is just how hot it gets in the summer. Yeah, again, like I said, it would be up to my dad, and he wouldn't want to change it now because he's at the age where he just wants it to stay as it is. But yeah, like I said, at least a lot of new builds, for all the faults they have in the UK, are being built around the idea of heat pumps and, you know, like much better insulation and, you know, using a pump to either cool down or heat the house, as opposed to, you know, like I said, these houses were built around the idea that, you know, you'd have air bricks to ventilate the house, and then you just kind of try and close the vents as best as possible and whack the heating on non-stop. Alright, Scott. But like I said, yeah, the good news is my recent video, unlike loads of them, YouTube has decided to share. So I'm never going to complain about that, but I don't know why, for example, the video today, whereas all the ones for the last week, it's completely ignored. Right, do I have everything bound to a key? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, nice. Okay. And, can I craft anything with that? No, it's still not enough for that. Well, I can craft a flash grenade, and then can I just sell him the flash grenade straight away?
Welcome. What can I interest you in?
Does he buy flash grenades?
Ruby's all rubbish.
Oh, I can sell my SMG ammo. I'll do that then if I'm not using the SMG for the time being, because that's taking up space. Get rid of the red herb as well, because I've got first aid sprays and the flash grenade.
Thank you.
Right, that's $5 Can I afford to tune up anything using that? No, but I'll keep the money and then next time I'll have a bit more money for him. Yeah, again, like I was saying, Scott, I think it's one of those things that most newer houses in the UK... right, so it's not technically a gas mask. So my favourite Soviet gas mask, as I've said before, is the Shums, the SHMS. Just because good tight seal, cheap to make, voice diaphragm on it, works with scopes and binoculars and stuff like that. Looks cool. But yeah, out of all the Soviet masks, although it's not strictly a gas mask, the IP4M rebreather, because it has proper straps, unlike the PMK1 and the like GP7. You know, like all of the straps are more like a Western style rubber buckle strap. And it also has an oral nasal cup inside, as well as a voice diaphragm and everything else. So yeah, weirdly, I wish they'd have just done a version of the IP4M rebreather as a standard like 40mm mask. Same with the PBF, because both of those are actually like better constructed masks with oral nasal cups. Yeah, again, the problem with the GP7s and that for me is I love the look of them, because like I said, I've got one, and that's my MF14. There's a regular GP7. Love the look of these, but the issue is with them, like I said, is no oral nasal cup. I really don't like the straps on these. Again, if you retrofitted them with more modern strap systems, they'd be better. But yeah, visually, I love the look of it, don't get me wrong. I love the way these look, even more than PMK with the rounder lenses. Yeah. As you said, PPM88, because I've got that one you sent me, which is like the modernised 40mm NATO PPM88, but yeah, like GP9. In terms of, yeah, it being a practical good mask, yeah, definitely this thing. But yeah, GP7 looks cool. Shums for me is my favourite of the Soviet ones, just as it's cheap and it works. But like I said, it's just a shame the IP4M rebreather, they never actually did a proper version of, as in like the standard mask version. Because obviously the IP4M is one that obviously had a lot of money spent on it, as in its fit and finish is really good, the IP4M rebreather. And for the people who don't know, the IP4M is totally different than the IP4. The IP4M is the one that's got like triangular eyepieces, an oral nasal cup. You know, it's much more like a Western style gas mask than the Soviet one for the time. What's that creaky noise? I'm never sure if stuff like that's like some. Oh, it's like a rat or something, isn't it? I thought it was going to be like a swinging about item that I could break for stuff. I don't know, it's bats maybe. Bats and rats. Yeah, bats there, yeah. Oh, hello. Oh, he's running off. This mug though does obscure my entire vision of the screen. Yo, can I smack that crow from over here? Ooh, nice, I got him. I don't know if it'll drop anything though. I wouldn't be shooting the birds if they didn't drop loot, but they drop loot. see here. There's a few bits of treasure showing up on the map, so I'm definitely gonna go pick those up while I'm here. Do I have any shotgun ammo? No. So I think this is where you get ambushed by some dogs. Well, at least the 5.7's got 15 rounds in it. Like I said, should be 20 rounds, but I've not fully upgraded it yet. And again, like I was saying, the annoying thing is that the lead the shot a bit more. There we go. Like I said, the annoying thing with the 5.7 in this is that the other pistol I had, the upgraded C96, is actually a better pistol in game, but I'd much rather be using the 5.7. So it's that annoying thing in this that, you know, because of gameplay reasons, some of the stuff in real life that's really good isn't necessarily good in game. Again, that's why I kind of like the mods for certain games, you know, where some games have the mods where stuff that would previously be kind of pointless, you know, everything's rebalanced to be useful. So from a gameplay perspective, it's, you know, maybe not as good, but it's nice if, you know, you like a particular gun and you just want to use it. Because so many games have that thing where, like, a pistol that's okay at the start of the game just suddenly is so weak by the end of the game that, you know, you can't really use it.
It's locked.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, the weird thing in this game is, like, the 9mm and 45 ACP pistols are, like, the lowest tier ones. The 5.7's mid-tier, and then a retro Mauser ends up being the best pistol in the game. Yeah, again, it's because in a lot of these things they don't actually think of, like, what the internal gun's pressure or how the cartridges work. They just do it on, like, what would look like a cool gun for different tiers of guns. And don't get me wrong, I love vintage guns, but the thing is with modern guns, they are much better in terms of amount of, you know, internal pressure they can manage and stuff like that. Vintage compass, eh? Oh, this video is sponsored by Big Kamenga as, what's his name say? Kevin. Yeah, it's Kevin, isn't it, that says about the Big Kamenga thing. I'm a shill for Big Kamenga. Again, I wish Kamenga did sponsor my videos, because I do like my Kamenga compass, and I'd highly recommend it. But, like I said, it's a joke, because I've never been paid by any of those sort of companies. You know, if some of them did want to sponsor me, the ones that actually make products related to stuff I do on the channel, you know, I would really have no objections. But, I think the only options I've ever had for, sponsorship deals from, like, the typical ones are the ones that are really dodgy products I would never shill because of the fact I have integrity, you know. And even if it's money on my, you know, money for me, I don't want to shill a product that I think's kind of a scam or, you know, very bad value for money. I'd much rather, you know, if I was going to be sponsored by somebody, it'd be sponsored to something channel related. Yeah, again, in every single game I seem to play, we're always an ATF character. We're ATF Ellie in The Last of Us. Leon's obviously a member of the ATF. In that Vietnam game, there's also zombie dogs, so when you're playing the zombies mode. Again, it's annoying with this screen cap thing that keeps going now and again to 61 FPS, because then I notice the screen tearing as soon as it does that. But yeah. Again, like I said, the annoying thing is for my... Oh, fucking bear traps everywhere in this town. But yeah, it's like I said, the annoying thing for me is that lots of games, some games have it, but lots of games don't have the option to cap your FPS at 59. And 59, I found, for a lot of games means I get no screen tearing, where with 60 it kind of is borderline where it screen tears. Again, next time I end up needing a new monitor, maybe 100 Hz is going to be more standard than the current one, so, you know, no, I really don't have to worry about it. I think it doesn't bother me too much anyway, it's just screen tearing is one of those things, you know, now and again I can see. It's more when I turn the camera I can see the screen tearing. Hello, bitch. Yeah, but again, it's money, and then the thing is that at least, like, with a 60 frame rate screen, is that because I can get most games to run at 4K and 60, I don't have the issue. But then I'm wondering if I got to where I start liking games at 100, if I'll be like, oh, I need a better GPU because I want to try and push all my games to 100. Do you see what I mean? Like, it's the reason that, like, console players can sometimes play on low-end stuff and be happy, because as long as your frame rate isn't dog shit, you know, and everything kind of just runs well enough, you're alright with it. But when you start seeing better stuff, you don't want to go down. Like, I'd struggle to go back to 1080p now I've played lots of stuff in 4K. But, you know, up until the point I was playing stuff in 4K, it didn't really bother me. Right, I will see if I can find, like, an egg or a herb soon, because I am a bit lowish on health now, but nothing too bad. Right, so there's that place, but I think I need Ashley to get in there, don't I? Gap in the wall. What about that place over there? Can I get to that? It's a big house, right? Oh, hello.
Out of the way.
Yeah, out of the way, exactly. Maybe it's worth me in a minute just using my normal first aid spray. Because I think that's normally a complete heal, isn't it? Fuck it, let's use it. Still got 2 more of them. Right, so what's the treasure up here that it says? Is that maybe on the roof slightly? Can't jump out that window, can I? Yeah, again, don't get me wrong. I think, you know, the higher the frame rate, the better. Even when people go, oh, the human eye can't see above 21 or 24, the brain definitely can notice a difference. But, yeah, my point was more, Rajiv, that I just don't want to get into one of those situations where then I have to keep spending more and more money. Where you're like, oh, this is nice now, I don't want to go back now. Oh, was that the crow that made me drop that I shot earlier on? Or was that on one of the other roofs? Oh, well. Right, so yeah, we can't do that bit yet, but we've seen everywhere else. Okay, time to carry on. If you're wondering why I'm shooting them in the legs, it's because sometimes you can knock them over and then do the kick so you don't use up as much ammo. Oh, now there's a green herb. Now I don't need it. Sod's law. So I can't go down there at the moment. Okay. But I am meant to be just going into the church, aren't I? Where's it? Snake. What does a snake do then? Do you eat them or something? It may be eaten, can be used to restore health if the poison gland is removed. Okay, how do I remove the poison gland? Or maybe I can't because of the fact that I'm at full health. Yeah, again, like I said, if you're in games where it works, I imagine it's really nice. It's just, like I said, it's just that problem of, like I said, it's that thing that, like, when you get used to 4K, when you know, been used to 1080p, a bit like with the jump between 720p and 1080p, or standard definition and, like, 720p, that it just makes it really hard to go back, and then obviously completely spiraling costs of all this stuff. I didn't actually like 7 that much. But it's kind of more like an Outlast sort of game, isn't it, 7? I really like the original games, both the remakes and the original ones. The original RE4 and the remake. Resident Evil Village is quite good, because it's almost like a spiritual successor to RE4 before they did this remake. You know, where it's like a first-person one. But, you know, it's quite similar sort of bits. You go around the village, and there's also a castle and whatever else. Look at Rajiv dabbing on everybody with his fancy screen. Alright, I'll just make the SMG ammo and then sell it back to the trader, because like I said, don't really... Again, I've got the MP5 in storage, but probably won't bother using that till a bit later in the game.
For a reason, stranger.
But yeah, I've already got the bolt, so got some retrieve and reuse. Oh, there's a bolt recipe. Okay, I don't think I have that, because I definitely want the bolt recipe if it means I can turn shitty knives into crossbow bolts.
Welcome. Ooh, what you buying? There's some things money can't buy.
So that's just something to sell outright. Same with the velvet blue.
A deal well
The
struck.
chalice, I can maybe put the emerald in that, because that's square, isn't it? But I can't.
Got a selection.
Oh, get rid of
Good
the hand grenade
things
as
on
well.
sale, stranger.
Yeah, I was gonna say. It's
I'll
only
buy
50.
almost anything.
I won't craft any more of those. Just keep it in my inventory for now. Maybe I'll get the SMG back out.
Well, come.
So probably just fit the MP5 in anyway, couldn't I? Yeah, I might not bother getting the scope for it at the moment. I'll just have the MP5 as it is, but... Is that bound to a key? Register shortcut. It's got 5. Okay. Yeah, I've not played the recent ones, so no spoilers. Sell free vipers. Okay, so I can sell them to them at any point. So don't eat the vipers, sell them. Okay.
What you buying?
What are you buying?
I knew pleasant.
But yeah, again, it depends if you're like into the games as an actiony sort of game or more survival horror. Because obviously, the very first one is very much survival horror.
In travels.
As I said, even with Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, it was where the series was starting to get a little bit more actiony. Because it's been one of those gradual things where it wasn't like they just suddenly went from one that was, you know, like actiony and not actiony. It's kind of been one of those things of this series where they've, you know, like as time's gone on, they've kind of made them a bit more action focused, and they've sometimes gone back to being more survival horror-y.
Good things on
Again, I like the series, but again, I'm more of a fan of the actiony ones because it's not like I don't really find the horror ones scary. I just find games like Outlast where you have to keep sneaking around with them more of a stealth game, a bit more frustrating, but each your own. Okay, so it's quite expensive.
I will give that the
Alright,
care it
okay, the
deserves,
5.7.
mate.
I can't get the power upgrade yet for it, but I can increase the ammo capacity.
We're
And
starting
let's
to get an
just keep
idea of
doing the
taste.
5.7. Oh, is there an upgrade I can... Oh no, that's the exclusive one, which I need a special ticket for. Okay,
Anything else I can
so...
help you with?
I want to sell, don't I? So, Velvet Blue, I can sell that.
Thank you.
We'll come back for some of the other stuff.
anytime.
Yeah, all of the Resident Evils had two characters if you go back to like the originals, where it was Jill and Chris in Resident Evil 1, Leon and Claire in Resident Evil 2. Resident Evil 3 was just Jill, although there is a bit where you play as Carlos. I was just finishing the coffee before it had too much of a skin develop on it. I hate skin on coffee. But yeah, so yeah, they've kind of always narratively done it. It just depends how well it's done in each game, doesn't it? Oh, I miss those crows, damn it.
Church. I made it.
Yeah, never finished it though. Got very close to the end. And then I wasn't sure which of the, like, the part-way through quest lines I wanted to finish off the ending, and I think I also got a bit stuck somewhere. I know they've, like, since I played it, there's been a lot of patches that have made certain bits kind of work better. But yeah, like I said, out and fall after it. But I'll probably just start and fall from the beginning again when I do it, rather than trying to load up where I was. I'm kind of finding this actually a bit useless, the MP5. It does very little damage. I might sell this to the trader, actually. Because again, you don't really need it until later in the game with the regenerators for putting the scope on. And that scope might even... yeah, exactly, there's multiple endings. That kind of makes sense, Rich, because, yeah... Because it's kind of just like a standalone sort of expansion, isn't it? I haven't played any of the DLCs for Titanfall either. Right, so...
Welcome.
Let's just sell in this. I'll keep the scope, so if I want to buy back the MP5 at some point, I've got the scope. Right, so that gives me a load of money. So now... There's nothing I want to buy, is there? But I do want to buy the upgrades. Although, actually, I wanted to get that, didn't I? Right, well, let's do that. We'll get the upgraded case. And then tune up.
At least I thought so when I was a lad.
Right, let's get the 5.7 fully upgraded.
Our craftsmanship demands no less. We're starting to get an idea.
Right, that's that fully upgraded. Good.
Do for this weapon.
Let's start doing the bolt action rifle to be more powerful.
We're starting to get an idea of your tastes.
Right, okay, cool. So that'll save this again. Yeah. So yeah, this is again. The MP5 is kind of good, but it's not really good against trash enemies. Again, and it's just saving it up for specific enemies I won't really fight in this point in the game. There's probably not much point doing it. Right, let's see my properly leveled up 5.7 then. Oh, actually, it holds more rounds than the real one because it's got 24 in it. I suppose if you had a heel plate thing on the mag, you could probably add a couple more 5.7 by 28mm on there. I do quite like Rebellion Sniper Elite games, saying that. Not that I think they're stupidly groundbreaking anymore, I just quite like the gameplay loop of where it's more of an open map. You can stealth them or you can do them a bit more action now, a bit like a Hitman game.
The church is sealed up.
And Baby Eagle?
Negative. Nothing yet. But they sure do have this place locked up tight.
I see. I can think of one reason they'd want to do so.
Oh, she's here. That's for sure. I'll find a way in. Condor 1, out.
It's not very far from the previous safe room, isn't it, this one? That's the right type of key. Okay. Is he going to let me go on the ladder then? Okay, that's interesting, because yeah, I like the old AVPs they did, yeah.
Let's hope for no more surprises.
Oh, you will jump down now, okay. Oh, that's where the way I'm meant to be going anyway. Okay. Assuming it is anyway, let's have a quick look. Was this loop round to where that gate was? Oh yeah, this is just to unlock the gate, isn't it? And then yeah, that's the way I want to carry on going. Yeah, because like I said, the old Sniper Elites are very much a lot more on rails, which is why I didn't like them very much when I replayed them. Yeah, you've still got the cool shooting mechanics. But yeah, Sniper Elite, I think it was Sniper Elite 4 onwards where they properly started making the maps more like an open world map, where you like each level is like a small open world, where you then run around and can figure out, do you want to try and fight the enemies? And obviously the harder the difficulty is, the harder it is to just fight multiple enemies. You know, do you want to try and snipe a load of them? Do you want to set up mines to do stealth kills or whatever? I ought to replay Code Veronica if there's an easy way of just emulating it on PC, or if there's even a PC release, I don't know. Let's have a quick look on Steam, though, say next. They did add a load of the old Resident Evils, didn't they, to Steam? So let me have a quick look. It won't be in my library. But store, move that down much more slightly, because I can still read the thing. Resident Evil. As I said, like free, it wasn't long ago, free was added to Steam. So the original Resident Evil is actually on Steam now. Oh, so you actually have to pay money for the various costume packs for Resident Evil 0. Again, I'm hoping they're doing so you can get the sexy Rebecca outfits. But yeah, that costs money per thing. It's not an unlockable in the game. Yeah, did they ever do a let me just search Code Veronica. No, so yeah, Code Veronica never had a PC release, or they've not done one on Steam. Okay, yeah, like I said, I'll have to do it that way if it's easy enough to emulate, but that's just making the point of that, you know, it's one of those things. Like I said, it's one of those sort of things where I wish a lot of these developers, if they could just easily do a PC port, you know, why don't they do it? Because again, like where they've done it with some of their other games, again, it makes it, if you just port it over, make sure it runs all right, put it on sale for not a silly price, people will buy your game. You know, it's one of those things. So like, I never get when like developers are like, oh no, it's too much effort to just simply set up an old game to work properly on PC. Destroy your tombstone emblems. I might as well go back and do that in a minute because I was in the right place for that. See what's up here. Flush, flush, flush. Is it one of these? I can break that one. Can I just break all of them? Yeah. So let me just break all of the bloody things. Oh, those are the two I needed to do. Okay, right. Okay. Sure. There's no penalty for doing the wrong ones as well. Actually, let's go back to the trader first, because if he if that was a thing that was like a little reward, I might as well claim the reward from him before carrying on. So yeah, if you didn't see my video earlier, with the American California chemical leak thing at the moment, they were saying, don't think I've ever played Plague Tales, the good thing, even though it's not really good, but good in the sense, is that apparently the tank's starting to rupture naturally. So it should mean that the pressure can't explode now, but they'll have to obviously make sure that they dam all around the thing so that as the chemicals leak out, you know, it's not going to, you know, not going to cause any sort of horrible thing that way.
An interesting choice. I mean it in a good way, of course. Thank you. Try that on comeback anytime.
Yeah, Dolphin's very good. I played Time Splitters Future Perfect all through on Dolphin again not too long ago. I think that was when I streamed it. And yeah, Dolphin ran really well. Again, that's the thing, is I forget that, you know, sometimes enough time's gone on that some of these emulators work really well now. But yeah, it's because it's like the last time, and this is ages ago, I tried to emulate Demon's Souls, the PS3 version on the PC emulator. That ran like absolute shit. But I think it's gotten well to the stage now where people can emulate PS4 games mostly alright, isn't it? So, again, playing PS2 era games shouldn't be an issue at all. It's just, again, like I say, it's just a shame. I think a lot of developers, if they own the rights to the games, don't just do a very cheap, you know, release of it. So you could legally get it in theory, and they could make a little bit of money from the side. Let me look at vinyl chloride. Again, it depends, with a lot of these things, it depends how they burn up, because some chemicals, the problem is that you need a certain type of filter for the, you know, like chemicals in one go. But if it burns up, what do you call it, like, you know, certain chemicals when they burn release other things. So, vinyl chloride. I assume the chloride bit is chlorine related, which would be inorganic vapor, wouldn't it? Let's see if I can find a thing up that actually explains VCM, what type of filters you need for it. Oh, I'll put it into a ChatGPT, because that is one of the things ChatGPT and Grok are pretty good at accurately telling you. Is if you look up like a chemical like that, they normally are very good at breaking down, you know, like the types of things needed for it. So yeah, give me a second, and we might as well look this up because it is gas mask related. I think somebody asked me a filter question as well on that video thing. Type A brown, so the organic vapor. Oh, vinyl chloride is organic solvent gas vapor, boiling point above 65 Celsius, highly toxic and carcinogenic. So it's recommended A2P3, ABEC P3, as in ABEC 2P3. If you're at very short durations near not very much of it, A1P3. So yeah. But the problem with vinyl chloride is apparently doesn't have much of an odour to it and stuff like that. So it's one of those ones the human body can't really find out it's being poisoned by it until you're poisoned by it. Because like I said, that's the problem with some chemicals are good in the sense that at very low doses you can smell them. So that gives you, you know, a warning. Whereas other chemicals are really bad because of the fact that by the time you can smell it or whatever, you're already at a lethal dose. So I'm just replying to a guy's comment because he was asking about filters on that video, and then again, I'm pretty sure he's just asked me something I did answer in the video, but whatever. I won't be too mean to somebody like that when it's at least it's an on-topic question. But again, if YouTube's not sharing my stuff with people properly, he might not even be aware that I did a video talking about some of this stuff the other day. Oh, that's a Molotov guy, is it? Not actually a dynamite guy. Yeah, again, America is really, really bad for, like, corporations being able to just fuck everybody. Like, don't get me wrong, this country's bad for it as well. But America is really something else when it comes to some of this shit. Alright, Brown Street. Yeah, that can be sometimes quite satisfying, can't it? Just doing a bit of knife sharpening.
Next. One down.
But yeah, so from what I understand, they never really had to properly sort that area of Ohio out, did they? Like properly clean it up or compensate all the people that would have had all their land permanently poisoned by that shit. It's just one of those things where, again, big corporations can fuck you and get away with it. Plainly Difficult's a really interesting channel if you ever want to see horrible, horrible things that are always covered up. Like with that sort of stuff. Oh, was there a snake there? I didn't notice a snake. Or are you on about something else? But the snakes I do need to kill when I see them. We're missing loads of shots. Right, I definitely need to figure out that recipe thing for
They keep coming.
recycling the what do you call it? I've heard loads of things about animals getting loose from private zoos before, but I don't know about the Oregon one specifically. Let the animals eat them, okay, that's fucking weird. Again, that might be subjects we're not allowed to talk about on YouTube live streams if it's about S-side or whatever you want to call it. Because YouTube then will probably let my channel go away for 2 weeks again where it won't notify anybody because I use the words you're not allowed to use. I think that's what they seem to do. I don't think they essentially, when you use those sort of words, immediately demonetize your videos. It seems now that when you talk about certain subjects, I think that might be... Oh, there's the snake. Yeah, thank you. I think that's where they probably now start doing that shit of, you know, like, oh, because you said a certain word, we're now going to punish you by making sure nobody sees your videos for like a week. Because again, YouTube has that weird soft censorship thing where, like, there's just loads of topics they don't like creators talking about. And that's why creators have to use all those weird, like, roundabout... Oh, sadly, I have to tread on him for getting some cash reward. So yeah, do tread on me, is the thing for this. Yeah, snake rifle ammo, I don't want SMG ammo, it's a bit shit. Oh, I do have the recipe for that. Okay, so I need 1 bag of, like, the bolts, and 1 kitchen knife to make some crossbow bolts. Right. We'll definitely remember that, because that's a good... Rather than selling kitchen knives, that's a much better way of getting rid of them.
Oh, yes,
Yeah, we'll just have to use the roundabout ways of referring to things. Again, that's why I like pistols with big mag capacities, when you've got loads of geriatric Spaniards charging at you at once. Oh, is that one? I can hear a little, like, metal... Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah, let's get that later on, but yeah. Is that bit of treasure there, the bit I just shot down? It says there's a bit of treasure back... Oh, that was a drawer, wasn't it? I needed the key for, so never mind. Can't get that right now. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, is that just a dead end here? Oh no, there's a little barrel here, but yeah, it's dead end. But yeah, I will do a video again regarding, you know, like where people can find different filters. But like I said, the problem is that, as I keep saying before, is that, you know, I don't know what people can buy in other countries, you know, with shipping and whatever else. So it's that sort of problem that, where people are going like, oh, can you just find this thing for me where I live? And it's like, well, no, because like, you haven't said where you live. even then it might be, you know, like state dependent or whatever else. I don't know what your budget is for this sort of thing. Like I said, I can link people to AliExpress when there's stuff on there, but like I've said, the problem is that, you know, I know even there's certain places you can't buy on AliExpress. Oh, speaking of, I've got somebody causing me issues with AliExpress now. Not to the point it's actually, I think, going to affect my account in any way, but I've had at least two people, or it might have been the same person doing it twice, doing like the buying and then refunding immediately through my affiliate links to try and get me in trouble kind of thing. Which doesn't surprise me, because like I said, people try and ruin it for you all the time on YouTube when you do stuff on YouTube. But it just doesn't surprise me that, you know, that sort of shit keeps happening. Okay, get rid of the blue medallions. Oh, before I go any further, crows. No. Oh, there's loads of crows here. I didn't think the giant... We're at the bit with the giant yet, are we? I thought he turned up a bit later. Again, spoilers. I know the game, but don't spoil it for other people. Okay, better use a green herb now. Gee, let's combine those. Can I use that for anything? Handgun ammo? Yeah, it's just handgun ammo. That still leaves me a load of first aid sprays. It's alright, yeah. I mean, there's foreshadowing, isn't there? Because there's the absolutely giant pickaxe that is way too big for a person. But yeah. Not that this is a very, you know, super detailed, plot-heavy game that, you know, you really don't want spoilers for. But in general, I just don't like spoilers on the stream. So if people are watching it for the first time, you know, for the people who... Because I know people who don't really play games, but they like watching people play games, especially when it's genres of games they don't like. But yeah, it's just yeah, there's loads of crows here. Or ravens. Yeah, they look too big to be normal crows. Again, I don't know if the normal gunshot scares them off, but at least with this crossbow... Oh, that was too high. Waste of that now. At least with the crossbow, yeah, you can silently, like, pick them off. Oh. Yeah, shitloads here, isn't there? Could just have a little air rifle for doing that. That was quite literally a murder of crows. Do hoo 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 hoo. Right, I don't have the thing yet, do I, to make more bolts? Oh, I do have a disposable knife. Okay, there we go. Even more bolts. Nothing else, okay, at the moment. Yeah, the giant's going to be behind that gate, isn't he? When you were saying about the giant. It's barred and you can hear him snoring. Apparently the gunshots don't wake up a giant. Oh, and there's one of those to destroy. Let's see if there's any others that are obvious on here. Oh, and there's that hanging up there. I can't see any other blue medallions hanging about at the moment. I don't think there's a flamethrower in this one. I might be wrong, I can't remember, but I think there are enemies of flamethrowers, but I don't think you ever get one, but again, I can't remember. There are like grenade launchers and things like that late game if you want the really powerful weapons, but for the most part, that's a different thing than that. Okay. Yeah, I've got the M1903 in this, yep. Yeah, it's number 2, yeah. said I've done a load of upgrades, so that's actually pretty good. Somehow now has a 13-round mag capacity, which is even better than the Lee Enfield. But yeah, I never really used that the first time I played the game, so I thought now I'm like doing a new game plus, I'll actually try and make use of it a bit.
You have to...
There are enough weapons here to get a party going.
Welcome. Well then, what can I do you for? Good luck to you, stranger.
Sure, I can't afford any other upgrades at the moment, so anything to sell? Yeah, Velvet Blue, because you don't put those in anything.
No?
Oh yeah, I need to sell him the Viper, don't I? Yeah.
I knew you were a go-getter. A deal well struck. Pleasant travels.
Yeah, I've played Stalker 2, I've completed all of it. Well, again, the thing is though, Gamma isn't even proper Stalker anyway, so I never get that argument. Like, proper Stalker, if you're going to be a purist, would be, you know, arguing about playing Shadow of Chernobyl and all those sort of ones vanilla. Again, because like vanilla, like I said, Gamma and the other one, can't remember what the other one is. Like Misery, it's not Misery, is it? Because Gamma is kind of like open world Misery. But whatever the other thing like Gamma was, again, that's not actually proper Stalker. That's the thing. Like again, and I have no problem with people playing those and enjoying them, but it's not Stalker's gameplay loop. That's what those mods are designed around. So you can't really, I think, say you're a purist and then say, oh, but I prefer this. But yeah, regardless. Yeah, there's a new story. I'll probably start it from the beginning again then, because there's been a lot of improvement since I last played it through. Because yeah, when I first played it, there was a lot of jank in it, kind of understandably, because GSC just had to release it when they did, because they were running out of money. And you know, they'd already had to move all their studios to the Czech Republic, because of the fact that they were getting fucking bombed, obviously, otherwise, in Ukraine. But yeah, like I said, I thought it was alright, quite liked it. Again, I liked more of the gameplay and open world stuff more than the main story. But that's kind of always the case with Stalker. But, you know, like now, when it's a lot more refined, you know, more optimised, and they keep doing stuff, it'll be worth another playthrough. But every time I kind of dip my toes back into it to play it a bit, I keep thinking, you know what, I'll just wait for the game to, you know, be really, really more polished, and then do a full playthrough again. Oh, I just randomly get that from that one, even though I'm not over next to it. Okay. But yeah, it's like I said, I do like Stalker 2, don't get me wrong, I don't think it's a bad game. But again, because it's Unreal 5, it's not great optimization. Even with me on the 3090, there were parts where the game really chugged. But yeah, like I said, I wish GSC all the wow with it. Again, I really like the original 3 Stalker games for all their faults. But like I said, then I'm not one of those people who personally likes Gamma, the mod Gamma. I like standalone mod Gamma, but again, the people who do, no offense to them. You know, if you like it, enjoy it. But I just do find it weird when people are like, oh, Gamma is proper Stalker, even though it's like essentially like a spin-off mod from Stalker. Oh, this is just a shooting gallery, isn't it? Don't want to do this. Is that, without spoilers, is that the bit at, like, the Duga place, or is it a bit later on? Because I know the Duga boss was quite hard when I played it. Like, the Woodpecker Radar sort of place boss. If that's the one you're on about with the lamps. If it's something later on, then, because, again, there's not many boss fights in the game. And again, it's not the game's strength. I wish they hadn't have done them. Because, again, the old... Yeah, yeah, I know the one you mean. Yeah, it just took me loads of tries. But yeah, with Stalker, a lot of it is, like I said, the boss battles don't really work in it. They're one of the weakest parts of the game, because Stalker was never about boss fights and all that in the original. It was much more about just exploration and, you know, firefights with quite squishy enemies. Yeah, hopefully, like I said, they do seem to be improving it as time goes on, but like I said, what I'm planning on doing is, like I said, I have played it all the way through once, but wait till a load of the content comes out for it, and then start it from the beginning again, rather than trying to jump in, going, oh yeah, that's improved, but that bit's still a bit janky kind of thing. Like I said, I have played it all through once. Definitely thought it was worth the money. There's lots and lots of content to it, but like I said, just annoying that being Unreal Engine, you know, Unreal 5, it doesn't mean they can make a massive open world, but it doesn't run very well because it's Unreal 5. Because I know they've added night vision and all that to the game properly now, because when the game first came out, certain enemies had like night vision scope, like night vision like head mounts and that, like nods on their helmets. But you know, they were never a thing in the game, but they did do a night vision update where you get different gens of night vision. Yeah, Brown Streak, I told you to stop, and you're doing it again. I know what happens, but again, don't spoil the game for people. Just chat about other stuff, or if you chat about the game, that's right. Chat about stuff that's already happened in it, but yeah. Again, like I said, luckily I can't have the story for me spoiled, because I've already, you know, already completed this game, but it's one of those things where, I know when Mike was streaming on Resident Evils, there would always be a guy that would come on and keep saying spoilers, and then pretending he wasn't doing spoilers. And then when he eventually got banned for doing it, he got really, really shitty at Mike's channel, you know, started trying to dox him and stuff like that. And again, I'm not saying you're going to do anything like that, Brown Straker. I know you're not, but I'm just sort of saying he was one of those guys that got so butthurt over the fact he couldn't spoil games for people. Plan to play Resident Evil soon, so switch vid just now, as heard you. When we were saying about spoilers, it wasn't really plot spoilers, sorry Rajiv, it was just Brown Streak was saying about like bits that were going to come up before I got to them, and I was saying, no, don't do that. Yeah, I'll ask for help. Like I said, most of these games I just like playing the game while having people to chat to, but most of the time I want to chat about stuff that isn't the game. Ah, yeah. Again, yeah, that was a bit of a spoiler. That's why I say to these people, you know, talk about stuff that's either already happened in the game at the point where I am, or talk about the guns in the game, whatever. Talk about real world stuff that we're trying to escape from. But yeah, just more just to avoid, you know, spoilers, because again, even if it was just like, yeah, have you got a bush hook for it yet? Like I said about, like a big bill hook thing, that would help you a lot. But yeah, I think people can sometimes be really amazed at how hard certain like bushes and trees are to actually cut down. Oh, I didn't want to use that one. Like I said, when I used to do poison ivy, that's why I used the bill hook on it, and a load of people are like, oh, just use some secateurs. It's like, yeah, good luck cutting down a shitload of poison ivy just using secateurs. Like, you are not gonna have fun if you try that. Yeah, again, that will help, but again, like I said, the thing with a pole arm is that you get so much more leverage like with a brush hook or a bill hook. Because the really long handle means you can just apply a lot more force without really doing it yourself. So yeah, while an axe is definitely better than trying to do it with secateurs like some people do, like little pruning scissors, because they're the people who really have no clue about how tough some of this shit can be. Yeah, but like I say, bill hooks are great, because if you get like a proper bill hook, brush hook kind of thing, you've got like a proper pole on it that gives you loads of leverage. So when you start like doing that, you can just lever it out like you're crowbarring it. And again, it doesn't work for all types of trees and things. I'm just sort of saying that is one of those things that, you know, there's a reason those were good agricultural tools in the medieval period and people loved them. And then, you know, in English history, we then decided they were great tools for also chopping up people. So you put a bigger handle on it, and then you know, run them through with it. But for the people who don't know, a bill hook's a bit like a halberd kind of thing. But it's got kind of like a crescent moon shaped sort of cutting edge. Oh, that sounds fucking annoying, but yeah. It's kind of, we're a very low trust society now, aren't we, Brown Street, where everybody literally just steals from other people or breaks certain rules. Yeah, those are cool. I saw that there's apparently you can get like electric secateurs and stuff now, which are apparently pretty good. I've never used those, but what I did use that's good is I've got one of those little mini chainsaws. I think I did a video on it before because it reminds me a bit of the Lancer from Gears of War. But it's like rather than being a full-size chainsaw, you plug a drill battery into it, and then it's like a chainsaw maybe about the size of the palm of your hand. It's like the Little Ripper from Fallout 3 and the Fallout games. Yeah, I know the ones you mean, Invalid, yeah. But like I said, the electric little chainsaws aren't bad. They're nowhere near as powerful as a petrol chainsaw, but if you're just doing them for light work, they're pretty damn good. I can actually knife that one rather than... Yeah, good. Another one of these. Never leave home without it. Right, reload my pistol crossbow up fully. Oh, hang on, will you switch guns and I'll tell them to reload this. Make sure we get those other bits before we leave this area. Oh, beep, 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 beep. Oh, suddenly got a crossbow here. Were those the fish that you can stab, or was that in Village? I think that was Village, wasn't it, where you could get the fish by shooting the fish and then eat the fish as food. Oh, there's that. Ooh, a pipe. We were discussing pipes and tobacco yesterday when we were playing. Like I said, those little hand chainsaws aren't very expensive, and I think, I can't remember if it's Makita batteries or something else, but you can definitely buy spare batteries for them. I'll have to play Village again. Like I said, Resident Evil Village is pretty damn good. It's very similar to Resident Evil 4, because I think they did that before they did the remake of Resident Evil 4, and it was kind of like, let's just redo Resident Evil, you know, a very similar game to Resident Evil 4. So again, I still like Village. I thought it was good fun. I played through it about 3 times. It was only when I replayed it on the hardest difficulty, there was a couple of bits where I got really pissed off at, like, you know, the difficulty spike in certain areas. The only other bit I don't like in Village was being as spoilery as possible, because it's only really creepy the first time you do it, and then it's a bit of a slog, is when you do the doll maker's house, because that's the only bit where you're, like, kind of playing a different genre of game, and while that's great the first time you do it, I wish you could just skip that bit on replays, because it just is kind of annoying that, like, the pace of the game suddenly changes for fucking ages, and you're having to do, you know, like a kind of, like I said, much more of a stealth kind of bit in the game with, you know, where, like, prior to that bit and after it is basically an action game. But the annoying bit, like I said, the doll maker's house, is it's good the first time you play it and quite creepy. Oh yeah, so you did Dimitrescu, or whatever she's called, the giant mommy vampire. Yeah, the doll maker's bit that I was on about. And then, yeah, you do the fish bit, and then you have Heisenberg later and that. I'll try not to spoil anything, but yeah. Like I said, the fish bit I actually didn't mind, but yeah, I'd say, like, because like I said, the doll maker I think is good the first time you play it. It's just one of those annoying bits that when you do replays of the game, it's like kind of annoying when you're doing New Game Plus. You're like, yeah, I know where all the scares and jump scares are coming. I just want to get through this bit to get back to shooting stuff. But yeah, Village is overall good. But like I said, one of the things, oh, you can get the fish in here. Like I said, one of the annoying things, like I said with Village, is that when you're playing it on New Game Plus, because I think like the second playthrough I did New Game Plus on the hardest difficulty, and I did actually have to download a cheats program to beat one of the bosses. Even it wasn't even the last boss of the game. But it was just one of the bosses was just so stupidly unbalanced where it turns up in the game, in terms of like, you know, like you don't really have many health kits and that for it. But like that was the only bit I was just hitting a wall trying to fight. I can't even remember there being a puzzle there, but again, I haven't played it in ages, so. Right, we've still got 2 of those things to find and destroy. But yeah, overall, like I said, I like Capcom's games for the most part, and like I said, I think, again, like different people have different Resident Evils they like more or less than the others. Right, that doesn't damage the knife doing that, so I just wanted to check. Do I have any herbs on me or just a red herb? That's nothing gonna matter. I got a disposable knife again on me yet? No. Yeah, exactly. Like I don't know what they were doing between like the PS2 era Resident Evils and like Resident Evil 7, but yeah, the RE2 remake, even if the Resident Evil 3 remake was a bit of a disappointment, for the most part they've released lots and lots of games I genuinely thought were good. And you know, like again, these are quite replayable because I like the whole New Game Plus thing they do with these games, that you know, you can go back through with all the equipment you had before and then maybe bump the difficulty up, so you've got a bit of an edge for that difficulty. Again, I wish more games had New Game Pluses than the ones that do, because the thing is with New Game Plus is, like I said, it's one of those things where I just genuinely think in a lot of games that New Game Plus is a really good feature for, you know, adding more replayability to the game, because you can start the game again with a feeling of a bit more like, you know, it makes sense to keep doing more runs through the game, because of the fact that, you know, you start off with equipment you've upgraded and skill sets. The RoboCop game, oh, that's the point. There's a DLC I bought in a sale for the RoboCop game. It's meant to be a really good DLC. Never got round to playing that yet. And that RoboCop game does have New Game Plus now, when it never originally had it before. So you can, when you've got, you know, like your pistol upgraded in a way you really like, RoboCop's pistol, you can then, you know, bring that into a new game. Yeah, after this I will install RoboCop and see if I can then get it running on Linux. I imagine it'll run on Linux. Terminator Resistance I've played through loads of times. Terminator Resistance is fucking brilliant. Don't get me wrong, the RoboCop game is very good as well. But like I said, the dev studio that's made those 2 games is great. They're like just some Polish dev studio that have a hard-on for like 80s movies in the best way possible. So again, Resistance and the RoboCop game, it is made by people that literally love the genre, for people that love the genre, as opposed to it feeling like some really cheap sell-out-y sort of, you know, like, oh, we've got this IP, so now we can churn out some shit with it. Like I said, those Poles are definitely like people that love 80s stuff, making people the stuff that love 80s stuff. Yeah, jerry cans are always useful. But yes, speaking of the Terminator one, again, like the Terminator one, loved the fact they'd reused loads of music from the film, sort of remixed a bit. Loved all the Easter eggy bits, where some of them are very on the nose and others are like quite subtle Easter eggs. Like the first time you have to get through the hospital with the T-800s, they're genuinely fucking scary, and it's because you haven't got a weapon that can really hurt them yet. But you can, if you save up enough pipe bombs prior to that point, you can get them all with pipe bombs. But yeah, I did love the fact that, you know, you're kind of, you know, like in a bit where the Terminators actually genuinely seem scary because you can't really hurt them. Of course I did, I sleep with all of them. You have to do your part to repopulate the human race. Yeah, of course, you're meant to do both. You have to say, I promise I will never die. Oh, that's a shame. Yeah, sorry to hear that. But yeah, I've had similar things happen with me before, where sometimes something bad happens when you should have a bit of escapist media, and then yeah, your brain keeps doing like the connection between whatever bad had happened and whatever else. Spoilers, Rajiv. Spoilers. Why are you spoiling the game for people? Delete your comment, please. Again, that that's one of the choices in the game that everybody does differently the second time they play it. So yeah, delete your comment about that, please. Yeah, thank you. Oh, I can imagine, yeah, with something like Ready or Not. Again, like I said, the weird thing for me was when I was in a car accident, even though it was a very minor car accident, I was the only one hurt in it, thankfully. And like I said, I wasn't really hurt, but it's the reason I haven't driven since then, because I needed a load of money again to get another car, even though I was completely cleared of any wrongdoing and all that. And again, it's just one of those things where after that, it took a lot of the joy out of driving for me. But it's one of those things where for a while, if any time I was listening to a story, and they mentioned up about people, you know, like dying in a car accident or being injured in a car accident. After that, like, it would make me not want to listen to that story or whatever, where before I wouldn't have even thought about it. But, you know, at the time, I could watch things like that fine now. But for probably like 6 months afterwards, you know, like I was saying, it was just one of those things where I kept sort of associating any sort of media of a car accident reminding me what happened to me. And like I said, mine was thankfully not a bad one, you know. Like I said, I was the only person injured in it, cleared of any wrongdoing, you know. The insurance paid out, but I haven't driven since. And, you know, but it's just one of those things where it's interesting how the brain does associate stuff like that with that. And like I said, I'd perfectly be willing to get back into driving now, but now that the roads are in such shit condition, petrol is so expensive, insurance is expensive and everything else, I kind of go, you know what, I'll just use public transport. Because yeah, if I thought of like how much money I spend per month now, even trying to be frugal, and then imagined all of the car costs on top of that, it would just be unaffordable for me. Even if I was doing quite a lot of hours of work, you know, it'd be one of those things where I'd have to work an extra however many hours per week to just afford a car, even if I was barely using the car. And like I said, I'd only really want a car if I'm going to make use of it, because the problem is that, you know, as convenient as having a car is, there's a lot of times where I think, you know, would I just be doing stuff to just justify having the car? Yeah, lots of good faulty towers. Don't mention the war. I think I mentioned it. Yeah, sadly in my area it's a bit shit hype. In some areas in the UK it's really good. Other areas it's probably even worse than where I am. But like I said, it is just one of those things where it's not awful where I am, don't get me wrong. It's not like it's unusable. It's just one of those things that, you know, I wish was better. But, so we've got one more spin out thing to find. Oh, it's there. Okay. Let's go back that way and just get it. Good moaning, yeah. I bought some daffodils. But yeah, like I was saying, it's public transport in general I think is a very good thing. Like, and I wish it was better, because again, public transport is really good for lower income people to just be able to get to and from work and whatever. You know, because again, like, in a good society, you want a society where the max amount of people can do jobs easily that's good for your economy. I generally don't see the argument, because I have a friend that does this, that seems to think the American system of transport is great, and really if we had less public transport it would be a good thing, you know. And then, you know, everybody should just have a car and then make everything better for cars. But it's like, yeah, I like the idea of everybody having cars, but good public transport is a much cheaper, more convenient option for most people. Yeah, again, you do have to put up with the other people on public transport, that's part of the problem with it. But again, if you're driving and then you're just stuck in a traffic jam and you're the driver, it's not much better than being stuck on a bus full of loud people. Yeah, again, if you're on a good walking or cycle route, that's great. Yeah, I was saying, it just depends where you are, doesn't it, and what you can access to. Yeah, well, I definitely go back to wearing a stab vest under my coat if I am doing public transport again, because like I said, that is part of the problem with it. But like I said, for the most part, as much as I bitch about it, I think it's a very good thing. And again, apparently America is again one of those weird countries where the public transport is just really, really shit. You know, that you either get stabbed on it, even more so than the UK, like that poor Ukrainian woman stabbed in the neck by that black guy that was like a multiple felon or whatever it was that they just kept letting out of prison because, oh, it costs too much money to keep these people in prison. But yeah, but like I said, in general, I think public transport's great if it's clean, you know, efficient. You get people to and from work or to and from shops. That stimulates the economy. Yeah, because from what I understand from speaking to Americans about it, it's one of those things, your public transport stuff in America, that basically, because America's built so much around the cars, public transport is seen as one of those things that just the poor and shittest people in society are the ones using it, so it doesn't need to be good. You know, it's just, but again, it's like that is not that again, but that's why America is in so ways such a bad country. And again, I really don't mean that to insult the Americans that watch me, but you know, like we were saying, it's on the. I don't mean like, you know, the fact that you have freedom of speech or the Second Amendment or whatever. I'm on about all the weird stuff where it's designed to be, you know, like your health system and whatever else. It's designed to just fuck people over. You know, to me, that is a really, really bad system. All right, where's that spinel then? How is it? There, really hard to see angle. I see. Right, let's go back to the trader.
That should do it.
Yeah, I imagine even more would have come over during Trump's second term, especially because in Trump's second term, he actually did a lot of the bad shit that people kind of, you know, were doing the, like, oh, he's going to be literally Hitler and all that shit. And in the first term, he turned out to not be too bad, but in his second term, he does seem to be quite deranged, in my opinion. You know, now he keeps going on about invading Cuba because he's getting bored of the war in Iran. And I guess maybe if something else comes out about Epstein, he'll have to distract from that. Again, in so many of our countries, I just wish we could have a president, prime minister that was just boring, but unlike here being boring, you know, actually fix things. Because I would not care if I had the most boring, you know, prime minister in the world that nobody gave a shit about, but they actually fixed things and made the country work better.
Took care of her request, did ya? Nice work.
I'm going to also slim on my snakes.
This is what I'm talking about.
Oh, I can also get rid of that and that.
Thank you.
Is there anything else I wanted to get rid of? No grenades.
Thank you.
I saw loads of them were saying barely anyone turned up and it was probably violent or whatever. But it doesn't surprise me they twist it. Again, that's why people like a lot of us obviously do not pay attention to these parasites
How
anymore.
have we procured these curiosities?
What's that one bit it says? Drop rate of resources large. Not really, I like the current case I've got.
Good instinct, stranger. Where would it come?
How does it, is there a guide somewhere to the text rows? So that's trio bonus times 1.4. What if I make it... No, so yeah, I want to do the trio bonus. Okay.
Right, any welcome. A deal well struck.
I might sell that red hood.
Well, pleasant.
Does it say I could trade with? It said there was a thing on the trade screen.
Got a selection of good things.
Oh, I can buy
on
gunpowder. I
sale,
can't afford.
stranger.
I can afford it, but I
There's
don't
some
really see the use
things
of it.
money can't
Oh, I can get velvet blue again.
An
Alright, let's get 2 velvet
interesting
blues and some of the
choice.
velvet blues
Oh, I
and
mean it
exchange
in a
it for
good way,
upgrades.
thank you.
Tune up, okay, so we'll repair the knife because we always
Give
need to
that
do
the
that.
care it deserves.
Not going to repair the jacket at the moment for 5 grand. Now shotgun or rifle for upgrades next. Let's do one on the shotgun,
Dazzled, are you?
one on the rifle, and that's all
Oh,
my money
perfect.
gone,
Don't
right?
get
Okay.
yourself killed now.
But yeah, like I said, even if you don't like Tommy Robinson, you know there's something very wrong, don't you? Where all the media are really out to get him and whatever. You know that means he must have hit a nerve with certain groups of people, you know, in certain positions of power or whatever. Oh, there's some resources I missed down there. Let's go to that then. And again, you get all those agitators, don't you, that are definitely sponsored partly by government groups turning up to those sort of things. I completely kept missing that. But yeah, so yeah, you get all of the like government-sponsored agitators always turning up to things like that. Oh, let's craft some more shotgun ammo. Actually, do that. Oh no, I haven't got enough gunpowder now. Alright, that's right. Let's just craft a load of more pistol ammo. And might as well eat the egg. There we go. But yeah, so because yeah, I suppose you probably know, Rajiv, don't you, all about the dodgy group called Hope Not Hate, which is a very, very sinister organisation. Yeah, exactly, because like I said, I am one of those people that would be considered a cuck and not based or whatever when people ask me a lot of my opinions. But I'm apparently extreme far right to like the really, really lefty people because of the fact that, and again, I don't really like it as a left-right thing because again, I don't think people who want like socialist stuff for poorer people are bad. I think it's much more authoritarian system where you're told to do what you're told, versus people that just want actual stuff for their democracy. Yeah, so Hope Not Hate, for the people that don't know, is a charity. And again, if I was in charge, a lot of charities would be very, very heavily, like, clamped down on. So Hope Not Hate is a charity, in the loosest sense of the word. So, like, their finances aren't looked into as well. And I think the guy's called Nick Knowles or something like that runs it. And he is very much a person that smears anybody, like, literally anybody, that is slightly right-wing. And he said a thing like about how after Southport, like some like white people went and chucked like acid in a Muslim woman's face, and then he was like, "Oh, I completely made that up, but I shouldn't get in trouble even though I made that up because I was doing it for the right reasons." Whereas if people incorrectly reported that Axel Rudabakana was like a small boat migrant, they should go to prison, kind of thing. So yeah, Hope Not Hate. They do a list apparently every year of like the worst chuds possible. I don't think I've ever sadly appeared on that list. If I get more popular, maybe I will. But basically anybody on that list is anybody that's just said anything critical about them. And the fact that, like I said, they have charity funding and they seem to be immune from getting in trouble even when they do disgusting stuff is one of the reasons I think that, something should be done about them. And I don't mean that in a violent, horrible way. I'm just saying that we should have rules for everybody that play equally or no rules whatsoever. But I absolutely fucking hate this sort of stuff where certain people, if they're allies with the right people, can get away with doing loads and loads of shit, and that sort of stuff. But if you're on the wrong side of it politically, single thing you do will be witch hunted. I know The Guardian did a thing that, like, you could have a cope session because Trump got back in, where you could have, like, hugs and whatever else. But yeah, I don't know, like, the only newspaper I subscribe to, and I do it on the cheap rate, where I was in, I'll cancel it each year, then resubscribe, is The Telegraph. And again, I'm not actually really a Tory, but The Telegraph does do some quite good journalism on certain things. If I'm only paying, like, £20 a year for it, I do find some of their journalism on Ukraine and other stuff very good. It doesn't mean I agree with a lot of, like, Tory stuff. Yeah, again, all of these people ought to be audited, I think, in Villa, personally. I think we ought to look into them and see who's paying them, what they're getting out of it. Because, like I said, I don't really have any financial people financing me. I wish I did. The only people that finance me are viewers like everybody on here that now and again send me nice donations. There's a little beg for you. But, any of the viewers that support me is great, but I've never had any big companies finance me. Wish I did. I wish I, was really rich for all this YouTube stuff. I've lots of YouTube creators, but I'm not. Like I said, I'm just some chud on here that gives you my opinions and likes playing video games and likes gas masks and that. But again, I've become more politicised as our own government has, fucked more and more stuff up in the country. Because again, I sometimes get that where people are like, oh, why are you interested in certain things politically? Like, oh, they're like there's some ulterior motive. It's like, well, no, it's because if I'm interested in certain stuff and then the government starts fucking up my rights to do a certain thing, of course I'm going to get angry about the government doing that. Whereas if the government, you know, if the government did pro sort of things in a certain way, you know, that encourage my life, I might say good things about them. But, you know, like I said, where Labour is like, oh, we need to ban this thing like crossbows or blank firers, you know, all that sort of stuff. That's, of course, like I say, where I start getting annoyed at it, because, it's then, you know, it then fucks me over, quite literally. Oh.
Christ. I don't think the boat can take another hit like that.
See if I can just focus on this, but fresh toast sort of be work. Oh, fuck's sake. See, like that bit, you need to know exactly in advance when it's going to jump up, because you only get one little throw chance to do that. So bits like that I find quite annoying in the Resident Evil games. Oh, you can actually dodge, can you? Never mind, I didn't even realise that. Okay, let's try that again. I thought you were just being pulled along. But, yeah, regardless, like I was saying. But it's like, again, like, if a government, for example, did a thing where they relaxed the rights on a lot of gun-type stuff, you know, and stuff like that, I'd actually probably praise them. But it's the fact that, you know, it just keeps getting worse and worse. And it's like, and then when people are like, oh, why do you care about all the immigrants or whatever else? It's because, like, yeah, because as a taxpayer, I'm having to fucking pay for people that come in and then commit rapes. Oh, sorry, word I can't probably use on YouTube will get me in trouble. Yeah, also gas masks and filters in Village, because like I keep saying, you know, like with the American chemical thing, you can just out of nowhere get something that you're not expecting that does result in like tear gas or various chemicals, you know, poisons getting into the atmosphere. So like, yeah, like I said, because like there was a thing the other day, and apparently this was gypsies, not actually boat migrants this time, but there was a gang thing done with a girl, and then another one done to another girl at night point by these same types. And yeah, like quite literally the judge let them walk free and go, oh, you're good boys. It's causing quite a media storm now, but sorry, you do a crime like that against a kid, I think you should be strung up by the next person. Oh, I'm not sorry for saying that. I mean, and even if you said, oh, because they're kids, they don't know better, alright, 30 years hard labour then. If it's completely provable that happened, 30 fucking years hard labour. Don't let them go. No, that they should be on the register for life. You know, never years of hard labour. Yeah, again, I could imagine Brown Street, stuff like that, yeah. It's the sort of thing that could keep you alive if you're hopeless. Oh, again, I don't get that. Oh, is the dodging left and right, or what? No, that's just the aim. Oh wait, no, I don't have to right click. Well, do I have to right? Okay, this is confusing me now, like the controls seem to be a bit temperamental if they want to work on it. Okay, is he going to come back up in a minute? Oh, he over-jumped that. Back up in a moment now. Come on, you bastard. White whale, holy grail. Or is he outside my throne range? Yeah, so I don't want to waste my things, do I, until he pops up now.
Where'd you go?
I had no chance to dodge that. Paraffin burners, yes. Although there's some sort of burner like that they've made illegal now for no fucking reason. I can't remember what type it was, but there's some sort of fucking thing like a paraffin burner now. The government decided they were just going to make illegal for no reason. Like they do with all the other things. Like, oh, it's not an eco-friendly type of fuel. This is really pissing me off. I might rage quit the game in all honesty if I can't beat this time. Because this is, like I said, this is the problem with the Resident Evil games, I think, where the harder difficulties sometimes have bits like this, where it's less about your general ability to play the game, and it's just kind of like, oh, I hope you pressed the button at the right time, or you fuck this bit up again. Play through all that bit again. Again, that doesn't have enough of a wind-up on that fucking animation to tell you he's going to turn around. That is just bollocks. I reckon I didn't have trouble with this before, because on the lower difficulty level, I reckon that he probably even does a bigger animation.
Think you can swallow me whole, huh?
Yeah, this thing is literally like you have to dodge. Again, that actually hit him and he still did the damage to
I don't
me.
think the bone can take another hit like that.
Right. There we go, that's that game. Fuck you then. Right, we'll play something else before I go off, but yeah, that's managed to piss me off. Like I said, there's definitely some things to games like that where the developers have done it either to be frustrating as much as possible or because they're idiots that can't do a game properly. Because like I said, I didn't have any issues with that boss at all when I did it on normal, but now it's on hard, it's something like, oh, you've barely got any frames to react to the thing. With like, barely any, you know, animation wind up or whatever. Oh, did I close that by accident? I didn't want to close that, okay. But yeah, what I'll do is when I'm not on stream, I'll either keep doing that till I get through it. I don't mind Dark Souls, I don't find Dark Souls that annoying. But, there are bits in Dark Souls that are bullshit, but yeah, like what I might do is see if there's some sort of just infinite health cheat I can turn on, not necessarily through the game, but just through some external program that then means I can just cheese it that way, because again, I don't feel bad cheating the game like that if it's that bollocksly made. Right, so I'm probably quite close to the end of Mouse Detective, Mouse PI, Mouse Detective. I did play loads of this when I wasn't on the stream recently. Oh, I've got this capped at 30 FPS by the way at the moment, just if anyone's wondering why it's 30 not going to 60. Because I couldn't get this to cap reliably at 60 where it kept screen tearing. So, but it does cap reliably at 30, so apologies for this being 30 FPS. Yeah, the soundtrack's very, very good. I can't remember if I got a copy of the soundtrack with the game, I'll have to have a look. There's quite a lot of Steam games now include the soundtrack, or it might have been a very cheap sort of... Oh, is this the Griffiths Observatory? There's obviously lots of these places are based in real places. Yeah, in general, it's either people who just managed it first time and no issues, or it's people doing it to be annoying. Because again, I've got friends that really don't like that sort of genre of games. I wouldn't go to them, get good. You know, if they don't like that genre of games, they don't like that genre of games. Well, I said with that Resident Evil thing, not having many issues with the main game fighting the normal enemies, but then, oh, we've put a really weird boss battle in that doesn't play like the rest of the game.
Wanda was waiting, and she did not like waiting.
I don't actually have things like that, do I? I think I just check that. No, I didn't.
Have a ball.
Let me try and put it up to 60 FPS, because whenever there's a little frame drop now, it's really obvious when it's 30 going down to well, that's stupid. I can't actually just press right on that to go right. Oh, I can at least click behind that. Normally you can't click behind things in these sort of those windows like that. Again, it's nicer at 60, but yeah. The only problem with Mouse PI for hire I found is that you do seem to get bits where the frame rate just seems to drop for like 10 frames randomly for a little bit. You know, where like the rest of the environment runs buttery smooth and then all of a sudden some sort of effect drops the frame rate. I've noticed that more on Linux though than Windows. Maybe I could change the version of Proton. I mean, I'm seeing screen tearing now, which is annoying me. Can't play that with screen tearing. Let's quit the game and change the version of Proton, just in case this version of Proton is, yeah, again, you want to play games for escapism and have fun, same with a movie. It's like why Firewatch annoyed me, because Firewatch, I might do some spoilers for this, but I'm not really sorry. So Firewatch starts off with quite an intriguing plot and everything, and then it gets to the bit where, I think Catchios 11's the one I'm running, isn't it, for, what's the name of it? Resident Evil 4, so if that runs alright, that might run Mouse PI for hire. But yeah, but it's like with Firewatch, so the plot starts off really interesting and all that, and then I won't spoil exactly what happens in the plot, but there's lots of plot holes in it anyway. And then they kind of just do this thing where they're going like, wow, real life's crap, isn't it? So if you expected an interesting ending to the game, lol, real life shit, so, you know, should have expected it. Like, no developer, I just don't like you now. It doesn't make me think, wow, you are so profound and clever. It makes me just think, you know, you probably couldn't think of a good way of writing yourself out of a plot hole corner, and then you're trying to think you're, I thought that was on. I normally always have VSync turned on, but VSync isn't that reliable. On Windows, you can't do this, I don't think, sadly, on Linux. I'm just going to have a quick look. I don't think it is an option in the NVIDIA panel. With, because like I said, the NVIDIA one's already cut down. You'll see what I mean, Rajiv, by that now, if you see what on this. I don't know if there's any way to restrict this, sadly. To, like, set my frame rate on everything to 59 FPS. Again, I don't know, I just keep going to that mode. I always just like to set to 100 even if the fans are louder, just to, you know, run on that mode. Power Miser, again, I don't like Power Miser. I always want this to maximum performance, but it sometimes resets that. Because yeah, see, the refresh rate of my monitor is technically 59.94, it thinks. Oh, nice, I forgot. I didn't realise you could set the digital vibrance up. Right, I'm definitely doing that, because that just makes my screen look nicer. It makes it look more HDR. Let's try doing allow G-Sync on monitor not validated as G-Sync compatible. Let's just see if that does anything. Apply. Okay. Sadly on here I don't think there's any way of actually setting a hard cap on FPS like you can on the Windows version of NVIDIA. Get the chat window back up because that's disappeared. Yeah, I think in the game, look, VSync was already on if it was an option. Yeah, VSync is on, look. I can either have it off or on. Although if I have it off, can I set it to 59? I can set it to 50. Right, let's just set it to 50. That's better than 30 anyway. I might set the field of view to and see what that looks like as well. But yeah, like I said, that's part of the problem when you're on Linux, is as much as Linux is very good now for games, there are still bits that with things built around Windows that you can't really get quite right on Linux. And again, compared to how shit Windows is, I'm finding that's less of a problem overall. I'm not going, oh, I wish I was still on Windows. It's just, there's a load of things where I do kind of just wish that, you know, it stayed as, at least that's capping it around 50. See, because it keeps going up to 51, which is the problem. It's capped at 60. If you go to 61, you then get screen tearing. But yeah, like I said, hopefully it's all running right now.
Big. Ominous. Foreshadowy even. Let's hope that bar granny took the night off.
Can't actually see it when I'm looking straight up because of how the brightness works. What gas mask? I didn't see anybody with gas masks on. I only saw mice. And I don't think they're Mickey Mouse gas masks. Unless you're saying everybody's wearing a Mickey Mouse gas mask. I hadn't realised. Unless you, made a comment in Village that just didn't show up when you said about helmets and gas masks. But if you did make a comment, it's not shown up and it doesn't make any sense in regards to what we're playing at the moment. Yeah, so are you making a joke or did you talk about something that YouTube's hidden your comment for? Because if it's hidden a comment, just try and type it out over a few sentences rather than all as one sentence. Again, you can see if your comments work, because if you look at the chat window on my screen there, everything I can see to read is what's appearing there. So if it doesn't appear there, I can't see it, basically. Yeah, it's YouTube being YouTube, where it has that stupid censorship system. Where, again, like, where Rajiv's on, or Hype, so sometimes people make a comment where it's held for review and a mod has to approve it or disapprove it. Alright, Sherlock? But a lot of the time with YouTube, there's just lots of words where YouTube just makes it look to you like you said the comment, and it just deletes your comment. No, I didn't know that, Hype, but I know obviously, yeah, so it means if you said something, YouTube has just totally censored it and disappeared it into ether. But I know obviously in lots of games and things like that, it's why the gunshots don't sound particularly good, is because of the fact that, you know, they can't really record real gunshots because it would just be too loud for a lot of the microphones. So they have those kind of weird sounding noises that are meant to replicate gunshots. Yeah, one of the things I like though, although it's, so there's Batman 89 had a 4K remaster, and well, I have been to the Asylum, but you'll know what level I'm on, so no spoilers if you played it before, because I haven't played it before. I didn't do all of it on stream, so I'm at the bit now where I've sunk a submarine, like blew up a submarine. They burnt my office down because the big mouse party isn't very happy with me. So I assume the shrews are saved to some degree, but I haven't like finished the game yet. Yeah, so Batman 4K, it's quite a good picture quality itself, but the colour grading is absolute shit. The person who did the colour grading needs to be fired and never work in the industry again. But the sound design, people don't like the fact they've changed the sound library of gunshots and that, but I actually prefer it because the gunshots sound way better. But I do get the argument of people that, you know, like, the gunshots used in the original sound audio library at the time are the ones that are therefore, like, unique to the film and should stay that way. I kind of understand that argument, but they do sound a lot better. But it's the same sound library they used for the old ones as Thunderbirds used and all those, so it's the very, very generic film ones that, you know, which, although it kind of in some ways is nice, it doesn't mean that you watch it and you go, oh, it's that sound library sound effect, where you're just so used to it if you've seen enough movies with it in. Okay, yeah, but what I mean, Raj, is if you've seen the Batman 4K release, the colour grading is wrong for nearly every scene. Yeah, they used a lot of disused quarries, yes. Old Doctor Who, yes. I'm not a fan of modern BBC Doctor Who at all. I think the last good series was the Christopher Eccleston one, which was like just the latest reboot. Matt Smith wasn't too bad, mostly because I like looking at Karen Gillan. Or Karen Gillan, however her name's pronounced. She was easy on the eyes. But for the most part, I like, yeah, Tom Baker, Pertwee, you know. Again, I'm not somebody who would watch every episode of the Old Doctor Who's, but there's lots and lots of good episodes you can just watch. As in, loads and loads of the scenes are really blown out, as in, loads of the scenes just have a teal filter slapped on them, that looks awful, and you can't make out the proper colours of the original, like, costumes and things like that. Well, they do have the original prints, that's it. You can see people who've ripped the 35mm, there's even 70mm versions at the cinemas. The Batman 1080p release is really good for the colour grading. But the 4K, like I said, is just, there's only a couple of scenes where it looks right. Most of it is just really, really oversaturated. Watch Oliver Harper's video on it, Roger. This is one where I don't think you can watch this and then say, oh, they've done a good job of the colour grading. It's just shit. It's literally like one of those ones where the studio said, right, churn it out, we want to just make a quick buck on it. Oh, so that's what you're asking, so... In Genesis of the Daleks, I'll pause this. So, Genesis of the Daleks, where the foul soldiers are wearing gas masks and obviously British uniforms. I'll have to see if I can actually get it up on Google Images, because I would not know off the top of my head. So, Genesis of the Daleks, I'll just put Genesis of the Daleks in and soldiers and see what comes up on Google Images. Genesis of the Daleks, soldiers. So, which year is Genesis of the Daleks from, first of all? Which episode is it? Oh, so it's the Tom Baker one, is it, where he ponders if he has the right to destroy them or not? Seeing as that's an episode from the 70s, it can't be a Mark 6 helmet full stop, because they weren't invented yet. Right, let's see if I can find a picture of these soldiers for you. But yeah, it would have to be... Right, so that's a Mark 5 gas mask, looking at that. If that's what you're on about. That is a British Mark 5 General Service respirator. As I said, Mark 6 helmet did not physically exist yet, so that can't be a thing. So the helmet, can I find a picture of one with a helmet on? That's not a very good angle. Yeah, they didn't, because they also didn't, that pissed a lot of people off with the Batman one, Rajiv. Like I said, it's not one where the director's gone back and say, this is how I wanted it. It's one where the studio has literally just shit on it. Like I said, the 1080p version of Batman is the best one in terms of the colours, because also with the sound effect thing, Danny Elfman apparently didn't like the original sound library used, but he wasn't asked to sign off on the new sound library either. So it's one of those things where the studio's just messed about with it for no reason. So yeah, let's see if so that guy there has obviously just got a bobble hat on in that one. And yeah, like I said, that's definitely a Mark V general service respirator. I'm pretty certain it's not a Mark IV, because if they've managed to paint it easily, it's probably rubber underneath, as opposed to the, yeah, I'm pretty sure they're Mark V GSRs. Again, the thing with this version of Batman, Rajiv, is the resolution is really good, because there's scenes where you can actually see where Nicholson's got the wig and the prosthetics on, because the quality is good enough that you can actually see, you know, where his skin doesn't quite match the fake skin. That's fine. I don't mind that, even if it takes away from the effects. But like I said, there's just so many scenes where you can't make out details properly because they've just overblown the blue colours. And again, because there's a couple of scenes that look alright in it, I think what they've done is the person who colour graded it basically watched a couple of scenes, adjusted the colours for those scenes, and that was it. So in a couple of places it works really well, but in most of the film it looks shit. But anyway, I'm just trying to find a picture of that helmet from a better view. Again, with a helmet like that, I'm afraid from an angle like that, I cannot tell you. I'd have to see more clips of it from different angles. But yeah, it might be a British Army helmet like the Mark III or the Mark IV. Could be a USM-1 style helmet. Really hard to tell with just a little angle like that. Like I said, I'll have to rewatch the episode. It's a good episode at least. That's alright, like I said, I'll have to rewatch the episode. I might, after this, download it and watch it. Because I think it's pretty damn easy, if I remember right, to get a torrent of nearly all the really good episodes of Doctor Who where people have ripped them. Yeah, because the interesting thing is if you watch the fan 35mm scan of Batman, where they've not changed anything around, although the colour stock's degraded, you can see like how in the original thing, how bright some of like the reds and oranges are. Like with the fire and that are completely not there in the 4K version. Like I said, if I had to take a good guess, I would say, I would say that basically the 1080p Blu-ray of Batman looks like it's got really good, like a really good restore done. You know, it just looks like how it seems to look from the films, like, you know, just scanning in the 35mm without changes. Oliver Harper said he saw like a really good copy in 70mm at one of like the, you know, cinemas that does 70mm things. And again, he used that to say just how much he hates the 4K version because of that. Because, you know, from what I understand, that they try and make it quite contrasty in the original Batman with Tim Burton's colour grading, but it didn't have, you know, there wasn't any like weird overlays done. So while some bits of it look very like shadowy and black and white, they didn't do a thing where like, oh, we're just going to randomly make the scene look very blue or very yellow or whatever. That wasn't the thing they did. Again, out of ammo, oh my god, Tiger was my favourite gun in the game. Like, wasn't using it. Ah, cool, yeah, like I said, I don't know enough about it, Reg, but I'm just complaining about the fact that Batman 89 at least had a very sloppily done 4K release. But like I said, the annoying thing with the 4K version is, like I said, if they literally kept the colour grading exactly as it was done in the 1080p version of Batman, the original Blu-ray release, it would have been fantastic. But it's like one of those ones where literally every comment on it is people whinging about the colour grading, and not really whinging, because they're right, it's just awful. And again, it was one of those things that I didn't mind it too much when I watched it, but then once I re-saw it, rewatched the 1080p version and compared them, I'm like, oh my god, this looks awful. Because it's like one of those studios that's almost like, well, it's called a Blu-ray, so surely it has to be a blue film. I might be able to get you... Oh, tell you what, let me just... Yeah, I kind of get what you mean, Rajiv, but yeah, let me quickly get up a thing. Batman 1989, 4K versus Blu-ray. I'll see if I can get you up on here again. It won't look as... You'll literally see how teal it looks. So, yeah, look at that 4K one. It's just literally blue. Again, some of the lighting in places look better. And again, with that, you can't make out the colours properly. You can't even see the Joker's got a purple suit because of the fact that they've just put a teal filter on everything. Yeah, so that's a good one, because the 35mm, like I said, looks pretty good. But that looks quite teal because the colours are degraded. Like I said, the reds and that are still very vibrant. But the 4K one, my god, it is just... Yeah, like I said, it is just a fucking horrendous... Like I said, that's the reason I said that person should never be allowed to work on films again. Like I said, it might be that in reality, you should have something that looks a bit close to the 35mm. But from what I understand... But in quite a few bits of the 35mm, the colours do look like the 1080p one. It's just that I think because of the degraded film stock they've used. Wait, so what's this 2025 Dolby Vision one? Has somebody done a good version of it? Yeah, exactly. Again, in the Oliver Harper review, he said like the white balance and the dark balance is totally off. It's literally like where, like I said, there's maybe 2 scenes in it where the colouring looks good. Yeah, again, there is the funny thing with nostalgia, isn't there? Because it's a bit like if you watch the non-special editions of Star Wars. There are bits that do look quite bad now, because some of the Lucas effects that were touched up are how people remember the original film. But yeah, like I said, I'm really hoping there's a good 4K version of Batman released eventually, but I have given a name to my pain, and it is teal.
Hey, pal.
What? I'm kind of in a rush here.
I know. Places to be, gadgets to buy. But see...
Yeah, I don't think
me
Tim
and my
Burton or
buddies
anybody
here,
who
we're
worked
cracking
on the film
cargo
Roger really had
jokes
any
and-
involvement of the studio with this.
Let me guess.
I think it was literally a
Fell
case
flat.
of, we want 4K
Worse,
Blu-rays,
it
churn them out.
landed right on top of him. We need to lift it so we can get the door open. And, save him.
And why can't you do it?
Yeah, I ain't exactly built for climbing. Marcellus, though, he was real jumpy. Climby, too. Kinda like one of those animals. Tail, screechy voice, butt out and proud.
You mean a monkey?
What's a monkey?
Ah, forget it.
It's
Where are
leader
the
of
controls?
Right
The
above us.
monkey, yeah.
Go
The
get it, buddy.
monkey.
Monkey? Those asylum cheese fumes do seem to have some lasting effects.
No, I can't do that until we're allowed to take them. So at the moment, yeah, that's going to be quite a long time. I have no idea how long all this probate stuff's going to last, but a lot of it is you have to wait for a certain, place to do certain bits, and then you can submit the next lot of paperwork. What's a monkey? Yeah, Vladimir Putin. That's interesting, yeah. I mean, like I said, that's the nice thing of black and white films, is I think that's why they still look so good, and it's probably quite easy for people, like you're saying, to do a Blu-ray release. Because, like, Doctor Strangelove still looks really good if you watch the Blu-ray release of it. Because of the fact that, like, how well done a lot of the contrast is in it and everything. It should be. Why should it not be invalid? You should just be able to place an order and get something. I mean, is there a reason you're saying that? I had an issue with Teespring recently where I couldn't cash out a payment, but apparently it's because they've changed their rules on how much money I have to have in my balance before I can cash out. But there shouldn't be any reason why you can't use Teespring. Unless you're somewhere in the world they don't ship to or whatever. But as far as I'm aware, you just do the, you choose what you want, you buy it, and they ship it to you. But you're not the first person to bring up... No, but yeah, why are you just wondering? I don't mean to sound like I'm being a dick. But why do people keep randomly bringing this up now? I don't understand. Because it used to be a thing that would just, if you wanted to buy something, you bought something, and now people are going, oh, is it still working? If you want one, yeah, you should just be able to buy one and get one. I'm not aware of anything, but like I said, I've kept getting weird comments about it, that's why I'm wondering. And again, it might not be, I'm not blaming you at all for that, I'm just saying that I don't know if there was some scandal they were involved in or something that I've not heard about, but like I said, I keep getting weird things where people are going, yeah, why are you still using Teespring? Like there's been something I'm completely unaware of.
You sure are agile.
Yeah, I get around.
Just like one of those, what was it? Monkeys.
Yeah, close enough.
Too bad Marcellus is still a pancake, but hey, a deal's a deal. Let me get that door open.
And yeah, the only reason I'm using Teespring, because again, as I said, I don't know anything obviously about them, I don't know, and I don't really care, serious, is with Teespring, they were the one that originally used to be integrated into YouTube, as in it was like the Google approved way of putting products on. You know, hence why they have like the proper little toolbar under there. It wasn't like I had, and again, I don't have to have any processing thing other than like, you know, the design of art items. Because the problem with some of the sites is that, say, I would have to, when I get an order, then have it printed and shipped to somebody. Whereas with Teespring, the nice thing of that was it was always designed to be, you know, you maybe didn't get as good a cut of the money as some of the other platforms, but you could just have your products listed underneath, and people could, you know, just literally buy it, and then it would be made to order at the point you bought it. So, you know, you'd pick a mug, you'd pick your colour scheme and the size and everything, and then they'd you know, sort you the quote out and send it you. That sounds tasty, Kevin. I was playing Resident Evil 4 until I got pissed off at the point with the boat monster bit, because I was playing on hard and it's just bullshit on hard. So went back to mouse detected until I end the stream. Oh. I haven't played this in a while, so I'm not in line with Boomer Shooters again. I'm playing it wrong. I might turn the in-game brightness down a bit, because I think now I've changed my screen settings. The brightness is making it quite hard for me to see certain things in this. Or maybe I can just turn the contrast up, hang on. Because there's gamma correction and that, so... If I put those all to complete full, what do they look like? Is that better or worse? Maybe still put the brightness down a bit. I think the problem is because it doesn't apply this in real time, look. Might have to put the gamma down again. I suppose that's also the thing, because a lot of the missions in this game are at night. The lighting's probably more optimised in this game for the nighttime missions than daytime. What I'm just trying to do is get it to the stage, because yeah, it does a bloom effect when I look up, which I don't like. I turn that off. Because again, it's just distracting if there's enemies at higher altitude, that it makes the visuals do a weird thing. The same reason I don't like depth of field in game. Can put the film rating up slightly, that's at 25, 26. Is there a bloom effect I can turn off? Oh, depth of field on. No, that's going off. Rim lights. Doesn't explain what those are. Let's try turning those off. That's not affected that, has it? like I said, I'm completely ignorant on this conversation between all these things. Like I was saying, all I know regarding Batman is, like I was saying, Batman 4K release is awful. That's just my point I was getting at, and I think it got a bit distracted in the colour grading thing or whatever we were on about, but I was just meant with Batman, particularly when I was talking about Batman, that, you know, the studio should be ashamed of what they did with that. Right, let's try it like that. Again, it might be that's not an effect you can turn off, I just don't like that. Fuck it, I'm just going to keep it like this. Most of the game looks alright like this. It's just, again, I know that's probably kind of a thing done on purpose, looking up it goes bright, but again, it's annoying if there's enemies up there. Oh, cool. Thank you, Invalid. Hopefully in about a day when that's processed, I'll actually have enough on Teespring that I can initiate a cash out. Cheers. But like I said, because the annoying thing with Teespring was recently, like I said, the only thing I was complaining about with them that I knew about was that it used to be that I think you could pretty much cash out no matter however much was in your, you know, amount. But now the annoying thing is it's like loads of companies where they have a minimum amount, so sometimes you can be like $2 under it and you can't get your money out. Yeah, cheers. The mugs aren't bad. I mean, they're just a generic mug. Like I said, I try and put most of my stuff on there not silly expensive, which means I don't get, you know, much profit from it, but you're not paying silly money, because I never understand those channels that are trying to sell, like, a t-shirt for $100 or whatever. Like I said, I try and keep stuff as reasonable as possible
Jack,
with my pricing,
over
and then
here.
just hope I sell more in terms of volume, but...
Wanda.
Teespring, I'd
The
say
sheer amount
since
of bullets I
COVID,
had to
maybe
unload
once
just to
every
get
4
to
months
you.
somebody buys something
Well,
on
aren't
Teespring.
you
It's not
sweet,
very
Jack?
common.
So, you got
The
the
hoodies
evidence?
they do
Sure
are very
do.
nice though,
Steve
where I've got
had
the
it
orange
stashed
hoodie.
in
It's
his
too hot to
mansion.
wear it this time of
It's
year.
a
I do
tape
like the
recorder of
kangaroo
some
hoodies
sort.
they do with, like, you know,
Tape
the pouch
recording, huh?
there.
Bet there's a
'Cause I've got
confession on
the,
it.
is it the S10
Get it to
I've
my
got on my
editor-in-chief.
orange hoodie, I think.
He's hanging around the VIP Lodge, 2nd floor. Hopefully he knows what to do with it.
No time to dawdle.
But yeah, like I said, the mugs are fine. I've had about 3 mugs through them. Because again, if I buy my own stuff through Teespring, basically, I just have to pay the item price. I don't get a profit, because the profit would go to me, so it basically negates the price of it. But yeah, the mugs are fine. The tannin resistance on them wears off a bit faster than some mugs I've used, but not bad. Yeah, this game is great, and remember IGN or whoever it was gave it like 5 out of 10 or whatever. Yeah, again, it depends, depending on what mask and what it is, sometimes some look better than others. I generally like the red and blacks, yellow and blacks, whatever, like this hazard symbol, but yeah, it depends. With the hoodie, mine's orange.
Wow, that's really, extraordinary. Bland. Can't quite put my finger on it.
Oh, there's the version, like, it's the version of, was it Pluto eating his son or whatever it is? Which god is it eating his son? Zeus, Pluto, the famous picture, god eating his son. Danger. Saturn devouring his son. So yeah, it's it's blatantly meant to be that, isn't it? Again, that's the thing I like with this sort of game, all the weird little references. If I'm holding that up right, again, you're not going to see it very well on there, are you? But yeah, it's Saturn devouring his son. There's the black and white version. It keeps flicking through stuff when I move my phone around. But yeah, again, I like how many of the things in this are just references to other things with stuff like that. It's American Gothic, that one. That's probably the one with the apple in the guy's face, isn't it? Based is just an old word meaning like cool, good. I think it's a Dungeons and Dragons term, like decades ago. But now people say like based and red pilled or whatever. It just generally means good. Who else was there other than Mickey Mouse? Because I know there's Betty Boop and like Popeye the Sailor Man from this period. And that's Kansas Burning or whatever it was, one of you other guys told me about, because I'm not an American, I don't know about that. John Brown. Oh, there's Salvador Dali's one, The Melting Clocks, there's cheese. Oh, it's the oh, Mr. Bean reference. It's the Mr. Bean's version of Whistler's mother. Oh, that's great. Oh, that is a great little Easter egg. It's the fucking Mr. Bean movie. You guys don't know what Giga Chad is? Oh my god. That's the problem when you ask somebody to explain an internet thing and then they use another more wildly known internet thing and you still guys don't know what that is.
Well,
do you know what the
these
Chad
will
meme
definitely
is?
be great assets in the future.
Oh, is there invisible wall? Oh, come and see our invisible walls. Oh. Yeah, exactly. That's the thing, Kevin, because like it happened in Ohio, and it's like I did a video on that even before the Ohio one, where it happened prior to that, and that was only because I saw a documentary about a similar thing to Ohio that happened on a smaller scale. Hang on, to get it up for all you people that are really being ignorant now, Giga Chad. So it's a Chad meme of like, you know, the Virgin versus Chad, and Giga Chad's this guy. You know, all those like refuses to elaborate, leaves sort of one. Yeah, I mean, they might have to inform me what an Ohio Rizzler is and whatever. But yeah, like Chad is pretty much one of those memes even my friends that don't know the internet know much pretty well. And again, they seem to know what based is, even again, if they don't know the origins of it and where it is, just based is good. I didn't even know that was a Giga Chad theme. Again, that's new to me. But again, I have to be careful of copyright strikes on YouTube, that's the only problem. Maybe if you buy enough of my merch, it will look like you. Which is something I could definitely have to put in small print at the end of an advert, will not happen. But, you know. Using the Weapons and Stuff mug 93 will turn you into a Giga Chad. It might, and again, the old version of Based has something to do with something like Dungeons and Dragons, and it meant it was like a powerful character or something. Then I think Based, yeah, ended up becoming a thing like if you were insulting lefties online, you know, as in like the perpetually offended people would say based, like based and red pilled or whatever, like saying. A lot of these words now have just their complete own connotations that don't necessarily have anything to do with anything else anymore. This is the thing. It's very hard to say like what something means now. What am I meant to be doing? Or maybe climbing up there. Or was that just for a little secret bit I already grabbed that one?
So why slightly
Oh,
melted cheese on my belly like this? And then you...
Like that? This fuse just got blown. Gotta get back to Wanda.
But why cool, Rajiv? What if it's hot? It's a hot day. It's not cool day, is it? Maybe just use the word good, if you're that being a Puritan. Although, again, there's that really good meme of Starmer, the Giga Chad Starmer one, but I don't know if I've got that, if it comes up on Google easily, I can show you, but Giga Chad Starmer. But if it doesn't, then, here we go, yeah. I don't know if it's the exact one, but Keir Starmer, immigration down by 78%, no to war in Iran, native birth rates up, I don't think that's true. Permanent refugee status abolished, wages above it. No, that's not the funny one. The funny one is where it's like all the stuff he's fucked up, but it's like he's doing it on purpose. Yeah, sadly, Google isn't showing me the funny Giga Chad Starmer meme. But yeah, there's a version of that where it's like, stop the first black woman from becoming prime minister or something, kicked out a brown Asian man from being prime minister, like, broke all of his promises, all that, you know, refuses to leave. I don't know the strike-free one, Rajiv, I'm too old for that. Invalid, at the moment, apparently now he's just going to let Andy Burnham have his job, but Andy Burnham still has to win the seat to become an MP. So he's at least realised now that he's so unpopular he needs to just go, but he's not going to go until Andy Burnham can replace him, and then that will be a couple of months till there's an election, and then Andy Burnham has to win the election. And then if Andy Burnham loses that, I have no fucking clue what they're going to do. But yeah, Starmer just won't walk away like a normal person. He's always irresponsible to walk away, but as we say, he should just walk away. There can be an end to this horror. Just give us the parliament.
So, did you do it?
Nope. But
I'm not saying Andy Burnham is the answer,
doing
but
cheese shots
that's the
off
Labour
party
Party's
members'
answer.
bellies.
Answer is not having Labour in
what?
power, isn't it?
Yeah, he's real cozy with the BMP. Belly button cozy. You know what that...
Ah, great. Just great. Guess I'll have to quit the Herald now. And there's no other daily worth a damn. Well, there is mainly Mouse Weekly, but penning fluff for peanuts? Again? And that office reeks of gorgonzola.
Wanda, hey,
What?
the tape. What do we do with it?
I don't know, Jack. It all sounds so...
Yeah, because they're
sound.
Labour Party people
Right,
doing his
okay.
praises, Invalid.
Sawyer's
Like I'm
making the
saying.
rally public through some kind of a experimental
At the moment, I think
broadcast.
Labour's fucked
Vision
themselves. I don't
and
think they
sound,
can recover
all powered
because
by this World
they had a
Fair's
chance
inventions.
and they blew it.
And yep, all runs on a tape player.
Yeah, perfect. We'll blast it over the loudspeakers. Where's it all being
I thought it was
broadcast
Mark
from?
Hamill that did the
There's a
Joker
sound
and the
booth
Arkham
right above
games.
the BMP
No, it's Mark
rally
Hamill.
grounds.
I'm
Used
sure
to be
it's
for
Mark
Devil
Hamill.
Song karaoke or something. Now it's for mastering audio.
Even better.
They're basically
the
at
devil
World
is in
War
the
II
details, and it's
tech,
details I'm
Rajiv, from
about
what
to
I
deliver.
understand. Although, actually, when did cassette tapes and all that first come about? Because I know reel-to-reel tapes are earlier, but I don't know when, like, actual cassette... I know VHS is the 80s, but yeah, I don't know, like, with World War II era, what the recordings would be done onto, actually saying that. Like, you're making me think now, I genuinely don't know. Like, how was stuff recorded in World War II? I know you can record to vinyl, technically, but they've moved past that, haven't they? Yeah. Your rent boys will be given safe passage through the wasteland. Just resign, and there can be an end to this horror. Like I said, the UK politics is in a really shit state. I'm not somebody who says I know what's going to happen and like what a good choice is. I'm just saying that we're in a situation that just keeps getting funnier and I mean, you have to laugh at it, otherwise, you know, you ought to really off yourself at this point if you live in this country. Again, that's something YouTube. I have to say YouTube, that was a joke. I told them people to do these self-harmings. But yeah, this country is just funny. Isn't it funny? So low on my own. I need to actually varnish on there as well now. Yeah, again, we're ATF in this game. We kill dogs in this. Everybody kills dogs in this game. Oh, I have Indians. Oh, I have a thing. Oh, there's a couple of guns, isn't there, where you press the button again, yeah, to get an alternative, like, two shotguns. Yeah, rubber hose Wolfenstein. I suppose it's more Doom, isn't it, with a chainsaw? especially because it's from the level in Hell that's a rip-off of Doom. Yeah, I said I genuinely didn't know hype. Like, because that made me really think when you said about that. I was like, yeah, how old is that tech? Because again, I know they recorded to vinyl and like similar drum type things before that, where you had to engrave a thing that would then you could repeat it back. But yeah, like I said, I genuinely did not know how old magnetic sort of tape was. Because again, like I said, I know that my dad worked on reel-to-reel computers in the 60s, I think it was. Or like early 70s, whenever it was. Where, you know, like computers for businesses was where you had a massive memory bank thing in a massive air-conditioned room where you had to load up, you know, physically load giant tapes onto spools. Like the ones that are in the Italian job, those sort of tape machines. Reel-to-reel tape.
Oh, if I had the hide and arc.
What's an eye-opener on the people that ran the country in the 70s to the 80s? Is that like a tiny camcorder thing, the mini DV, or is that something different? 8-track reel-to-reel, no. I had a cassette tape player when I was younger that was very good at chewing up the tapes, as in like the same type you'd have in a car cassette player. And we had VHS players, that's about it as much as it went for tape to me. My parents might know what it is, but I don't. I might have seen a Tecmoan video on it. Yeah, that kind of looks familiar. But I don't think we ever had one in the house. Yeah, because again, our car tape player was the other type of tape. See, like that's the type of cassette we had in all our things, like little mini VHS ones for audio. So that came out in '63. That's older than I thought, the things like that. But again, most people use vinyl record players at that point rather than. Yeah, for like the Walkman and like the mini Walkmans. Yeah, speaking of mini DV, well, I've never had one of those hype because all of my camcorders have always been digital ones. You know, I had old film reel, you know, like manual cameras, but we never had a camcorder until I had a digital one. But speaking of that, we did have a tiny little cassette recorder that was like a tiny version of one of those that, you know, you could record on, like one of those little pocket recorders. So we did have one of those for audio recording. See, that's what I'm on about. That's the sort of thing my dad used to work on. Although, again, that might be an audio cassette loader for making tapes. Oh yeah, that is. But what I meant is my dad used computers like that back when computers were like memory banks. But yeah, like I said, but yeah, I never had an 8-track or anything like that. Like I said, my oldest thing for a CD player was a very generic little boombox thing that had a habit of carrying a magnetic tape. And then when I had a PS1, I used that to play CDs. Because you could put a disc in a PS1 and play the music, you know, via that. Running out of ammo for everything. Normally I never have issues with ammo in this game, but this level doesn't seem to have much ammo laying about anyway. That's got some ammo, but that's going to be a bit of a waste of ammo every one shot without using it to blow up people. I think my mum's Picasso car, her Citroen Picasso in the very early 2000s, was the first car we had with a CD player in it. Like, prior to that, it was just, standard tape deck. Well, funny enough, when I got my Golf, it had a combination tape deck and CD player. Because that shows you how old the Mark IV Golf, that, that was considered kind of cutting edge. And wow, we have both a CD player and a, I know the CD players are actually from the 80s, but this car's a luxury car. It comes with both a tape player and a CD player. There was also a cool thing I never ever used in my Golf, because I quite quickly replaced the stereo with a more modern one. But the Golf had an interesting thing in it as well, where you could install like a weird jukebox thing into the glove box. And it was designed so you could swap CDs really quickly. Like, there was a button on the CD player that if you had that installed, you could switch CDs without physically taking a CD out and in. So you're loaded into a jukebox and then slam them into the side of the CD player. Again, I've never used that because I simply put a modern CD player in there, either played CDs via that or plugged a USB into that CD player and played USBs. And my last car didn't have a CD player at all because it just had a USB thing, or Bluetooth or whatever. My dad's got a CD player in his car, but that's because we retrofitted him one in there. He doesn't understand.
I've never seen so much crap in one place.
Ah, yeah, that's a bit annoying. It's true that's where something's worn and the disc just swings a bit as it rotates and then grinds against stuff.
So I tell him, get rid of the shrews. Don't care how. I want a clean red line of free housing. I drop Stelton and grab that frickin' magician's fortune. I don't care how. Dump upon the loonies on it if you have to. Just do something. Oh, and deal with the magician's inheritance while you're at it.
Wow. Quite the dump to unload. All in one breath.
Hey, why waste words, right? Not like anyone's recording. Even those old world eggheads don't have that kind of tact.
Running away. What a surprise.
Hold up. Why Stilton?
Kurt kept having night sweats about him, so I greenlit that excrement tornado at the Opera House. Nobody's stealing the mayor's seat from me, especially not a rat like Stilton.
Please, that guy's got no bite in his fangs. He's soft, overpriced cheese. Overpriced.
Yeah, nice, yeah.
Soft.
Wow, you sure are sharp. I'm real glad we're in this together.
Every time. What am I gonna barely come on? We're standing up.
I go and shoot it. Problem is at the moment I'm really low on ammo, so I'm having to play this in a weird way. And maybe I didn't go to the shop and buy a load of ammo prior to this mission. That was probably the problem. But it does mean that, this mission probably didn't have enough ammo. Because some missions I'm like, oh, well, there's loads and loads of ammo here I don't need. But this particular level has been really, really bad for ammo drops. Is there still a guy alive? Oh, apparently not like that.
You there, freeze! Ah, great, he's going up.
And you ain't going anywhere. 'Cause guess what? We've got someone real special in here. Someone real close to your cold ticker.
What?
Think, Gumshoe. Who do you care about most?
You're the closest thing I got to a dad.
There it blooms. Understanding. Last warning, Pepper. One more step and off goes the head.
I swear, I will rain fire and habanero shots on you, you flat elbow the buzzard. Good as dead.
Oh yeah, died. Mad Max car's a Ford Falcon, isn't it? I think, which is kind of like the Mustang they built for the Aussies. Yeah, as well as that, Kevin, my first car had to be a write-off eventually because of a computer failure in it. As in, just like where I'm just gonna sprint past this.
First I kill him, then I cuff him. In that order.
Yeah, it's because the central computer went and then the doors would either not lock or they wouldn't unlock, basically. So yeah, the car became useless, all the locks were computer controlled and it fucked up. And Citroen wanted like several grand to attempt to fix it, as in they couldn't promise they would fix it, but you give us like a couple of grand and we might be able to fix it for you, that kind of bollocks. So we're like, no, I'm selling the car. And I sold it to a place that sold cars to third world countries. Without, what, as in it's too loud? Hang on. Without turning the game down, I'll just turn my desktop audio down. But yeah, so it was a thing where, basically, because in some third world countries they don't have many regulations with cars, they were able to just sell it to, like, you know, overseas. That's right, yeah, where they basically just did the thing where, I didn't get much back for it, but at least it was some money, you know, where, I'm assuming in that country somebody would probably just have physically, like, a padlock and chain keeping their car door sealed or whatever. I've got that chainsaw thing, so let's just see if I can make use of that. Get some of these guys, right, that's that out again. One shot for that.
First I kill him, then I cuff him. In that order.
Right, so that's all of those guys. Right, I've got 4 rounds for this. Right, is the audio right now? Because I've turned it down quite a bit. Have I got any ammo left? A little bit here. Yeah, so that's my only real complaint with this game so far, other than a couple of sections being very, what's the name for it, where, like, trial by errors, you know, like, trial and error, where you have to just sort of play them over and over to work out what you're meant to do, like, not die. This level has just not had anywhere near enough ammo drops. To the point where, you know, there's bits where they're clearly expecting you to shoot the enemies, but I've just not got ammo. Can't not even hurt that. Just punch it then. Oh, is that respawning that boomstick ammo? If so, I'm going to keep grabbing it until, yeah, that's respawned. Right. At least that gives me a bit of ammo.
Oh, no. You're not getting away this time. No room for mistakes now. Time to move, proper-like, and finish this.
Yeah, if this is the end of the game, I'll just carry on with this then. As I said, I'm pretty hungry now and want to go, but if I can just, right, portable freezer. What key is that on, the portable freezer? Oh, it's another gun assigned to 5. That's the only problem with this game, is that because there's quite a lot of guns, there's not an option for playing in colour. There's one level that is in colour, kind of as a bit of a mindfucky thing, but no. Because they'd have had to have redone all the graphics in colour, because it's all hand-drawn. And it would take long enough to make a game like this just in black and white. If you had to do it in colour, it would take even longer. There wasn't like some portable shop thing, was there? Even though there was the upgrade thing there. Because again, that's the problem, is I've got all this money, but there's nowhere to spend it, and I can't get any new ammo.
It was the last stretch, and I was starting to get serious deja vu.
Yeah, Saboteur, the one in France. Again, there's money, but have I even got any use for that money? Because that's the problem, that if at the moment I can't cash that money in anywhere, it's sort of a bit pointless. Yeah, and Pandemic was destroyed. Alright, good. Some ammo of various types. Devarnisher, again, like, that's my favourite gun in the game anyway. Alright, I'm just going to punch these guys now, actually. And I'm trying to be very careful with my ammo, seeing as the last level was shit for ammo drops. More Devarnisher. Right, we'll go to the Devarnisher for a minute. Yeah, again, did the old Battlefront games. Free Radical, who did the Time Splitters games, were going to do Battlefront 3, and then EA closed them down, or whatever it was, just before release.
Come on. Oh, finally.
If the Saboteur had a PC release, I don't know if I actually own it on Steam or not. If not, I might actually reinstall that and replay that. If it didn't have a PC release, then I can't, obviously. I know we talked about emulating earlier, but, you know, I've got enough games on the go at the moment. Full-on boomstick ammo, so I might as well use that for a minute. I can't hold many rounds for it. Oh, this is an easy lock, look. Well, not necessarily if you pirate it if it had a PC release, but I'll have to have a look after this stream. I won't be doing it on the stream today, but I'm just saying I'm kind of tempted to replay it now. Again, I don't think I ever completed it. It's one of those games I wouldn't mind having a go on again. But, yeah, I'm sure, again, it doesn't really matter about its Windows compatibility, because I'm not even running Windows, so, yeah, but sadly it's not going to get a remaster, is it, if the studio killed it? And, again, EA now and again remasters old games, but that seems to be in spite of, yeah, again, that's the problem, is it can be bad enough sometimes when the companies are still around and quite functional that own IPs for stuff. When you start getting into the realm of expired IPs, that's something that's really complicated. Yeah, let me just have a quick look on Steam, and then, like I said, what Linux updates are available. Just a thing for known. Okay. Right, but yeah. Let me have a look. Saboteur, does it still exist? Yes. Okay. That's the. Oh, it's in my library. Look. Okay. That's very, very easy then. I thought the whole game was in black and white, or was that like the places you hadn't liberated are in black and white, and when you liberate them they go to colour? Steam Deck playable, so it should run on Linux alright. So yeah, although it's officially just a Windows game, for Windows XP, look, that's probably easier to run on Linux now than it is on the modern version of Windows. So hang on, Saboteur. Only 6 gigabytes, look, wow. Right, we're not going to install that now because it'll break the stream if it starts doing a load of downloads while I'm trying to stream. But yeah, starting download. Oh wait, no, never mind, look. Look how quick it is on my internet to install a game of that size. Well, it's actually installing 227 megabytes first. It's probably, yeah, like precursors. Oh, it's probably one that does it in a weird way. That has to download packs for it. Yeah, there's the 5.4 gig. Sorry, let's pause it now. But yeah, there's some point-and-click games I like, as long as they don't have really stupid puzzles that are made to be as obnoxious as possible. Oh, I can't gamble on YouTube. Look, YouTube might give me a strike thinking I'm doing real-world gambling. I like how the peach is meant to look like an arse. Peachy peach. I like how it's done that on purpose. That like, oh, you nearly got a thing, and now it's going to on purpose just go down a thing so you can't get it. Yeah, it does that on purpose every time. It's like an animation. Hey, it's on there. Look, the peach's ass. The only winning move is not to play. We were speaking about gambling addictions on yesterday's stream, funnily enough, so there you go.
Too good politician. That guy's got stamina. Give him that.
Right, so yeah, Windows XP was great. Loved XP. Windows Vista after some service packs wasn't bad, and Windows 7 wasn't too bad. But yeah, Windows 7 was the last good Windows. Windows 10 is shit, it's just not as shit as Windows 11. But yeah, I loved XP. I like 98 a lot as well, to be honest. Again, I'm kind of wondering how easy it would be for me to do a dual boot with Linux and just do a really old version of Windows. I suppose the problem with those is you're very much at risk, aren't you, as soon as you go online. That's the problem. So yeah, there's no point really doing it. It's just, I suppose in a virtual sandbox, pissing them out in 98 might be fun. I liked all the screensavers and different themes on 98, where like you could change to the water one and all the sounds would be water related, and it would be a screensaver with fish. You know, and there was all the various things like that. But yeah, my first actual computer I owned, as in not using a family member's computer, although obviously it was bought for me, but that was also because my parents got me to do... Oh, I didn't even see I was going to jam that. That was also because my parents got me to do schoolwork and stuff like that on it, so, you know, there was a reason they wanted me to have it. It wasn't just... because they can't just make a system that works and keep shoving slop in it and spyware. So, for example, my dad wouldn't have wanted to learn Linux, but my dad has learnt Linux simply because Windows 11 is such bloatware on his PC it barely runs at all with Windows 11. But yeah, so my first ever computer in terms of like, I had it myself that I could install games on, you know, rather than just using it for a couple of hours per day, was an XP. From Watford Electronics, which I bet doesn't exist anymore. Hang on, I'm going to look this up just because of nostalgia reasons. Watford Electronics. Do they still exist? No. Watford Electronics is a British computer electronics company. It was founded in 1972 in a bedroom belonging to brothers Nazir and Razar Jassar, and grew to become one of the best known suppliers of microcomputers and micro-peripherals during the 1980s. So yeah, in 2007 they collapsed into administration. Yeah, I'd have got... My parents would have bought my Windows XP from them maybe around 2003 sort of time. It was in the last couple of years I was in primary school, I think. So probably 2002, 2003. Finished primary school in 2005. So yeah, another British company that's dead. There we go. Dead. Not coming back. Destroyed.
Hell, he's way too far. I can hear you just fine, you meddling mouse. Really?
With the engines and the wind, don't care. Fair enough. I'll be there in a blink, all right? We'll see about that.
No, I don't have any dynamite on my ship. But yeah, like I said, it's just depressing with Britain now, the amount of companies that, you know, when you grew up were like kind of slightly famous companies that are now dead at various degrees, both manufacturers and like, you know, big retailers and stuff like that. So this was the first level of the game, wasn't it? I think it cut off before she rescued us. Survived the BMP onslaught, sounds like the Eastern Front. Oh, shit.
Now this is what I call a target-rich environment.
So why has it got the hook under him? Am I meant to do something using that? What was the button for... Oh, shit. Q. Was it Q? I can't remember what the button was. And I couldn't see. Yeah, it was probably a bit like a Radio Shack type place. Like I said, it was more just a specialised computer place that was like, if you wanted a decent computer that was not just a crap pre-built, you went to them at the time. Because my uncle was into computers, recommended them, and then, you know, like, picked out the best budget gaming PC that could also do schoolwork thing, you know, and components so my parents get at the time without spending loads of money on me. But, yeah, like I said, yeah, I didn't know Radio Shack was dead, but that's a shame. Yeah, I've never heard of Circuit City, but yeah, Radio Shack I knew about, but didn't know they'd closed. That's a shame.
Now this is what I call a target-rich environment.
Was it say the button was Q or X or something to... Q, okay, yeah. Oh, I see, so we're now platforming along. Come on, let me... Why didn't it let me grapple on it? What the fuck? Yeah, now it's just AMD, and again, if it wasn't for AMD doing the Ryzen series, we'd be just stuck in a stagnating Intel thing. But at least AMD fucks over Intel for being incompetent. Does that one come back round? Does he just fuck off now? That broke again. Great. See, this is, again, the only thing I don't like with this game is you seem to get sections like this where it is literally trial error of die over and over and over again until you figure out exactly which bit you were meant to press at the right time. Again, because most of the game doesn't play like this, but again, they, like I said, it's not as bad as Resident Evil 4 with that fucking stupid bit there, but... I mean, there's ARM CPUs as well, aren't there? But are they mostly for phones, ARM-based CPUs? I don't know. Yeah, it's probably like this one bit of the game they didn't quality control very well. Alright, so let's deal with these guys. Right, let's land on this one first. Then we'll do a double jump. Q. Yeah, there we go. Right, now make sure we just land directly on this guy. No, he's not dead. Okay. Right, and we'll do a double jump, tail spin, double jump, tail spin, double jump, tail spin. It seems like if you miss some of those, it kind of invisible walls you off even when you should be able to survive the jump, if that makes sense. Oh, that's more we're just going across, is it? Okay. Oh, I'm nearly dead, great. Because again, we can't see those enemies against the white sky with the contrast. Like I said, it's... I really like the visual style of this, but there are places where, like, the bloom and that shit you can't turn off just break the game. Where, again, I hate the idea of, oh, there's an enemy against an environment that's really hard for your eye to see. Oh, what? Okay, so there's two on there that I need to get rid of. Okay, is that all of them? Oh, I shouldn't have done that, because maybe by jumping over that first one, it will break me trying to get to the next one. Okay, it didn't. Good, but, Oh! Oh, I thought it was going to fall then. Right, I hope that was a checkpoint.
Thanks, Tammy. I gotta move. So got Tammy and I need to...
What do you want about it?
Well, he's kidnapped you, Tammy, and...
Yeah, he's got John, genius. We haven't heard from him since last night.
Someone close to my heart. Most absolute.
Jump! Go after them!
All right, I'm going. Peace.
Right, we're back on the Heisenberg slash Mousenberg, whatever it was called. Hindenburg.
For a two-bit politician, that guy's got stamina.
Some of the other bits of the game are a bit weird. I don't mind them too much, but like I said, it's a lot of games seem to have that problem of, you know, like bits that just aren't too in line with the rest of the gameplay. Because, like I said, it's one of those things where, yeah, like it's nice when there's a game and it has a bit of a different bit to break up the normal game. But yeah, if the gameplay has been balanced around how the game normally plays, and then all of a sudden you have a very, very different bit of gameplay, that's when they can quite often just feel a bit shit. Right, I assume this is going to be a boss battle coming up now, seeing as it looks like it's the front and I've got loads of ammo. It'd be nice if they let me get to full health before going in there, but they haven't. And there's an upgrade station where I haven't got any upgrades for it, okay.
Welcome to the trap, mouse. All right, Sawyer, this is it. The end of the line. And I'd have gotten away with it, too. If it weren't for you, you meddling mouse. Nuh-uh. Not without Curd feeding you orders. A puppet's just dead wood without a pulling hand. How dare you? Without me? BMP will fight with someone else. Maybe not as camera-friendly, sure, but just as easy to steal. Because let's face it, Sawyer, you couldn't scheme your way out of a running wheel. You're just not that smart. You! Why won't you just die already? Too damn stubborn. And you're out of time.
Right. So I guess we're gonna break those things. There's like weird monitor things that shoot stuff at you. There's a health item and some armor, that's useful.
We interrupt this broadcast with fresh intel from our friendly Herald reporter. This just in, folks. B&B sucks.
You pesky mouse! How dare you!
Yeah, now he's doing some sort of laser thing.
Copying someone else's work, classic.
Oh, I see there's gas around the outside of the room. Oh, of course there's gas, because I suppose they are the Nazi mice.
How can I control the masses now?
Oh, I see I was meant to use that for that one. Okay.
You're ruining my empire! Look closely! The criminal detective is fighting free speech! Ah, look at you getting nervous. You're just a scared little crook.
Where's that item there, the cowboy nose?
Oh, sounds like your rig's taking a beating.
B&B is a bunch of debased morons. Can you believe it?
Oh, it's a devarnish. Should key that one. See if devarnish is any good against those. It's EFL. I can't really reply at the moment. There's a bit too much going on this. How do I, oh, he's gassing me again. Let me just read what he's saying, sorry. It's asking a Doc 2 question. You got mask info, some valuable. Cheers. Have a good remainder of your day. Cheers. If I remember to watch the episode of Doc 2 later, I'll see if I can actually ID the helmet properly for you. But again, I couldn't from the little images I could see. I could just see a bit of metal, basically. There wasn't enough angles of it to see, you know, like what strap design it was or whatever else. hopefully I can heal again in a minute, because I'm going to be a bit fucked otherwise. I can use that. But
That felt expensive. Enough of all this, you damn mouse! Your little stunt chase is nothing, you hear?
no, it's nearly 5 PM. Yeah, I definitely need to go get some dinner after this. Been on quite a while, I guess. So how long have I been in Mouse PI for hire? I think that's it. On that bit it shows you, or isn't it somewhere else? Or it normally shows on Steam. Oh, it's because that bit keeps covering up. Yeah, so I've been on this for nearly an hour and a half just on this stream today, plus all the Resident Evil we did beforehand. Anybody who's watching, tell me exactly how long I've been on, because I can't look without sort of alt-tabbing or whatever. And there's still probably going to be another 5-10 minutes of this left.
I must squash you like a bug. Your goons go down, and I'm coming for you. I was supposed to save this for a special occasion. Oh well. Excelsior! Something.
They spin lies with a thread thick enough to anchor a ship.
Am I? Oh no, I'm forced to use that. Okay, if I'm forced to use that, I might as well just keep doing the secondary attack. Because if it's got infinite ammo, there's no point in not doing the heavy attack.
Whom we hate, Sawyer. BNP is a bunch of debased morons. Can you believe it? BNP, more like DUNP. BNP lies. Would you look at that? They spin lies with a thread thick enough to anchor a ship. BNP is a bunch of debased morons. Can you believe it? Folks, it seems the only thing Sawyer controls now is his sphincter.
Oh,
Ah, hell, Jake. Now I gotta clean this up myself. I'm not some crook. I'm a boss. A boss. Let's up the ante. Huh? What do I pay you idiots for? Get a lot of these
transport on something like that. Right. I assume those guys keep infinitely spawning, so basically we'll mostly go for the main guy, but just clear out some of those guys behind me every now and then. And also because they drop the healing items, don't they? Like the cheese, the minions now and again. Any cheese anywhere? Oh, there's some. Cheese, yeah please. Oh, another bit of cheese, yes please. Oop. Up that bit of cheese then. Yeah. Oh, he's nearly there. Come on, just a bit more. There we go.
Alright, this is it. End of the line. Oh, just shut your damn mouth! You're a dead mouse! Dead! It'll be okay. My body will be okay. Right? Right? Saw you later, pal. Crap. Burn that one. Don't use that one. You still in one piece?
More or less. Those acid-swimming sharks weren't at all excessive. Man, hell of a tale to tell over some melted cheese, huh?
Don't jinx it. We're still on a ticking blimp.
Saw some evac planes in the back when they dragged me in. But hey, did we win? Is this thing finally over?
Well, define over.
What was that?
Nothing. Let's get out of here. I bet Tammy's all...
Check on my phone, seeing as nobody said how long I've been streaming. Should probably tell me if I go to the start of my stream and it will say minus however many hours. Yeah, 3 hours and 20 minutes ago I started streaming, or roughly about that. A bit, probably actually a bit longer than that. 3 hours 25. Yeah, it's like the end of Mouse Detective then, because like I said there was some of this I played not on stream, just when I had a little bit of spare time now and then and didn't want to feel like doing a full stream. YouTube's on weird interface now, that wouldn't work. Yeah, good music in this game. Good soundtrack. Right, anyway, I'll quit that out now. We'll just see if there's an update on the California chemical leak before I go off, because that's a good place to end the stream talking about that. So I assume you can't do a new game plus, can you, unfortunately? Although that saves from 2 minutes ago, so what happens if I load that? Is it just the ending of the game? Because this would be a really good game if you could do a new game plus on it. No, yeah, sadly. I suppose you could probably find some way of cheating that gives you just loads of money and everything to start with, so you could then, Oh, your stream's bitrate, hang on, 2168, is lower than the recommended bitrate. We recommend you change your stream bitrate to 6800. But last time I had my stream bitrate up, they told me it was too high. So I annoyingly reckon that won't work. So let's, oh sorry, just move that up so we can see your comments again. Frozen says, hi mate, such a lovely weather up here. Hope you've been alright mate. Sorry I'm a bit late in joining. I've been on for 3.5 hours, I'm afraid. It's alright, I'm not going to be on much longer. So stream setting, was it 6800 it was recommended? Let me find that. Advanced, wherever it is, I changed the stream bitrate. And then I'll do that once the maximum video bitrates. Yeah, I'm going to just have to change that. Like I said, tell you what, let me do a print screen of where it says recommended bitrate of 6.8. So I'll just save that into my documents. But yeah, so the saboteurs downloaded it. So yeah, let's have a look at the California chemical leak, see if there's any new updates on that. Well, I've been streaming. Oh, but they said it was ruptured and leaking earlier, but now apparently it's not ruptured and leaking. So what's the latest thing from that that's like, let's go to this Los Angeles Times, because that'll probably be more related. Oh, that sounds painful, brown, yeah, when that starts actually bringing out a bruise and everything. At least it didn't damage your head or anything serious. So has there been any updates? Alright, so the threat of the massive explosion has been eliminated, so that's good. So they're saying that it's not going to explode now. I guess it's just, can they stop it before it leaks? So 40 minutes ago, threat of massive OC explosion eliminated, but evacuations remain. Oh, they've got it down to 93 degrees, so where it was 100 and that was as high as the meter goes, as in it was over 100, but they didn't know how high over 100 it was. They've got it under 93 now, so that's good. So yeah, what they need to do now is just find a way of draining it out safely to put the stuff into storage elsewhere. But yeah, like I said, still not good news, it's still not resolved, but if it's not going to explode now, that's the worst case scenario. Because that would be obviously where if you were near it, you'd have all the houses nearby flattened and whatever, and then you'd have a fucking fallout cloud of chemical agents going down stuff. Yeah, I did that in a video earlier, Kevin, because they literally did that. They said, oh, it's 100, I assume Fahrenheit, because they just said it was 100. And they said, oh, but that's as high as the meter goes, so it could be more than that. So yeah, they literally did the Chernobyl thing. They literally were like, well, that's as high as our meter goes, so... But at least, like I said, at least the fire service or whatever that was dealing with that were like, yes, the meter goes up to 100 and it's probably over 100. They weren't pretending, well, it's magically 100 at the maximum then, because that's as high as our meter goes, therefore it's alright. But yeah, so anyway, I'll be off now, so yeah, so that's better for the people in the area. Again, lots of them still can't go home yet. They're still probably going to have to make sure it doesn't go into the drains and kill all the aquatic life. And I'm hoping if you're a resident there, you can maybe legal up and get some compensation for this, for all the bullshit, and maybe, you know, slight damage done to your lungs from it leaking. But the good news is it doesn't look like that's going to actually explode now. It's just a case that you have to hope they can responsibly drain it. Was it owned by a British company? Again, it's probably as British as Keir Starmer's British, I imagine. But yeah, regardless of who owns it, they should be sued. Because again, if they've fucked up like this, it doesn't matter if they're British, American, whatever. It's the people in the neighbourhood are the ones who are the victims, not the company. But yeah, so does it say who owns it? here. GKNS. Oh yeah, UK-based company that supplies parts for aircraft. So yeah, but because that British company was operating in America, they are allowed to do all the very lax rules that is allowed in America of, you know, not having multiple cooling systems, somehow being allowed to put something like that in a massive urban area rather than just in the middle of nowhere like they should be for things like that. But again, you know, late stage capitalism is awful. You know, just like how high, you know, when you go to the far end of communism, it's awful because people are killed and starve and have no incentive to work. Late stage capitalism of, oh sorry, it's not insurance related, it's not healthcare related, not service related, enjoy your you know, horrible diseases caused by this carcinogens and we'll pretend it didn't do anything to affect you. Yeah, right, so yeah, see you everybody. I'm gonna try and fix that. Is there a widget for that? It says open widget. Stream's current bitrate is nearly 3,000. I'm just gonna put 6,800 in there so I can copy that in a moment into what's it called. But yeah, see you everybody. Thanks for coming on. Like I said, quite a long stream today. Well, it says good there, even though it was saying it wasn't very good earlier. But that's still. So yeah, I'll see. No, minor issues. Yeah, I'll see in a minute if I can fix that. But you won't see me on now. It's just saying that's going to be a thing I have to try and fix. So yeah, try and make that green by yeah, change it to 6. The last time I had it on that, it said my bitrate was too high. Anyway, right, see you all. Have a good day. Catch you hopefully tomorrow.